And we're back for another mind map session, but we're going deeper and darker than ever this time. We've got Desi joining us once again, so I hope you guys did your homework. If you didn't, it's okay, because we're going to go through it, and we're going to touch on a lot of things. We had talked about the book Programmed to Kill by Dave McGowan in the last stream, and a few other things we touched on that we're going to be exploring deeper this time. So welcome back, Desi. Thanks for joining us once again.
Hello, thank you for having me. I promise I'm on my best behavior this time, guys.
Well, just the coded words. We're learning the different coding between TikTok and YouTube. It's just a little different. But you're getting the hang of it.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
So what's up, guys? Welcome back. Good to see you guys. Hope everyone's having a good evening. Hope having a good week. Enjoying the weather. It's starting. We're almost into spring here. Winter's over. Sun is coming. How's everybody doing? Looks like we got most of the regulars coming in. Right on. Let me just make sure the connection's good.
Familiar faces.
Seeing some familiar faces. Good. I'm just gonna double check the connections here, make sure everything's good. Looks like we're good. Right on. Okay. You get all kinds of weird shit doing this. You know about it. You've been having a weird week too with everything, so you know about it. And so, yeah, with the internet sometimes.
Warfare? Yeah.
Yeah, big time. I don't know if you want to go into that whole thing or not, but that, you're doing the right things, though, right?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm like, okay, some people would say that you're like the common denominator and take it in a negative way. I'm like, no, this is a pattern, you guys. So I'm not going to let it get to me, okay? Clearly, that they want me to be quiet. So I'm going to do the opposite.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Well, and you know how to pivot now too. Like you're good at going one way to the other way to back around, and it's still all for the same good cause, right? So, as long as you keep on
Yes,
trucking.
I'm like, okay, I know I have to move a little bit. We have to move a little bit more like water sometimes. Like,
yeah. Just
that's why the
keep
mind
flowing.
map is so awesome, because you can kind of bounce around, so they never really know what your ultimate goal is until you blast them once.
Well, I mean, I think a few of them kind of know. There's a few touchy areas I've noticed where I'm getting onto it. It's the more trouble is coming, and so I don't know. I was kind of wondering if maybe I don't know. We'll go around it. We're gonna work around it. It's fine. But Programmed to Kill.
I'm like, I suddenly realized, I'm like, well, I shouldn't name off the things that really got the dogs coming. So I'll just,
we're gonna pivot.
Yeah,
We're like,
I'll take your lead.
You're good. You're fine. You know what you're doing. It's like you just know when the waves of chaos agents and just weird things start happening. It's like you're ruffling somebody's feathers, but you're on the right track, right? That's how I take it. I just go harder. I just double down now. I used to back off and get a little freaked out. I just double down. Just keep on.
I re-strategize, right? Like you doubling down, but like
or pivot, but different, right?
Yeah. Of like, I'm gonna like still chip away, but I'm just gonna do it in this other way, right? Like where you just kind of like re-examine the board and realize like, oh, okay, right? Because like sometimes they'll be like, oh, you're hot, and they'll kind of do something to kind of zap you or distract you. And I'm like, oh, it's because you didn't want me to see this other thing, right? Like, so I feel like we got to keep them on their toes, just like they do with us. So.
Yeah. Well, double it down, but obviously pivoting, just coming from different directions. Like when you can see all the other angles, you can come from any direction and still be hitting the same pile of junk in the attic, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the main thing, And this is where it's weird with Programmed to Kill. I'm like, yeah, no wonder like you were telling me to read this then, and I don't know why I didn't just read it then. I'd started Weird Scenes. That's where I'd gotten 200 pages into, was Weird Scenes.
Which I think it was I think that's Dave's most popular, I would say. Like, I think that's what got a lot of people to read some of his other books, like, because it's hard for me, because like I found Dave after he had already passed.
Yeah.
So, you're kind of taking, like, I'm taking in his old, like, radio interviews and kind of, like, getting into all of that and seeing him do some of these book tours, right, that he was doing for Programmed to Kill, but it was mostly Weird Canyon, because it was, like, the early 2000s blogging. in a lot of ways. And he left that entire archive. But for me, though I like Weird Canyon and I mean, learning, I mean, that's connected to the music industry and MK, all of that, right?
Yeah.
The program is my favorite. So tell me how you felt about it, right?
Like
Since
yeah, like I can tell like more and more though, like literally it's the exact same attic, the same angles. A lot of the stuff I had just got there differently, you know, like some of the stuff it was talking about like with Presidio McMartin School, the Anton LaVey stuff and like, connecting back to John Bonet and some of that stuff, the Marc Dutroux. I got like that's some stuff I was digging into too, and that's where I really like I hit the wall. I think it's almost the same stuff just from a different side of like I kind of hit a wall for a bit and I had to step back and pivot a bit because I was getting really affected with seeing how it all connected, seeing the pipeline, really seeing it for what it was. Like I can see now we are both at the same final destination of how we feel about John Bonet also. You know what I mean? Like this is where it's going. I get it and you get it. I just but I did make notes. Shit, did I not bring the friggin' thing in here? I have to go grab it. But I made some notes of some stuff that it's on the, it's just over on the table, so I'll just have to grab it in a second. But notes of stuff that is like, it's either on the map or it's stuff that I know more about or I know less about, like that I think to hear more about what you think about it. But there's a lot of really interesting stuff that popped out that's like, to see it come back full circle, it's like it's divine right time, you know, like I'm not even gonna question it anymore. Like maybe I was delayed and I didn't get around to it and I kind of just dragged ass on that for so long, but then I slammed through it in like a day and a half, 2 days I think by the time I started it, because I ended up having to start it fresh because it was weird scenes I'd started, right? But I slammed through it and I was like, oh my god, like this is all the others, and there's other stuff that I hadn't put that together yet, like this Arvida. The Frank Foster guy, ended up adding him on the map here. Let me get to it. This Frank Foster connecting to Arvida, which goes back to the Disney stuff. So like I was already seeing how some of these dots could fit on the map, and I was like, oh yeah, all right, no wonder she's telling me this the whole time, and I'm just like going around in a circle looking at it from like.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I don't know about if the chat has the book or if they've seen the book. It's available online, but if you want to go run and grab your notes, I can start by just kind of talking about the introduction and then you can hop back in and pick it up.
Yeah, that's perfect. I was going to find, there's another, what's the other spot? The Steven Stainer stuff too, that My Name is Steven, that's already on the map. Yeah. And that, when that kind of connected to Ken Parnell, I was going to try to find it. Hold on, quick. And then I'll leave it on that and I'll run quick. And then, yeah, if you want to take the lead. Shoot, I can't find it. I just gotta search it. 1 second. But I'm getting excited because I'm like, we're definitely like, yeah, like it's been the same common denominators of truth or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's the same.
Right. Once you whittle it
elephant. Down. Yeah, same great big elephant, just a different side of it. Oh, there it is. Okay, my first name, because there's another kid, the kid that played the kid in that movie. That there was a movie they made about the Steven Stainer case. And that movie, the kid that played in that movie ended up being like a red dot on the Hollywood map. Died very young. So maybe like I'll hover it on that, and then you take the lead. I'll be back in like 2 seconds, and then we'll keep her going.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Veronica. Oh my gosh. I know. And always thank you to Tez for everything Tez does. And Tez keeps me in line, y'all. But the thing that I love, before we, really, really kind of take the lid off with Program to Kill, is that it starts out with mind control 101. So I feel like so much of the veil has lifted that now we're all able to realize like, oh, MK Ultra isn't just this like imaginary boogie monster. It's a real thing. And our Western imperial powers, you know what I mean? All the forces, everything is utilizing that to control us. And so I love that Dave started out with just articulating from that standpoint. I don't know, because I'm like, there's so much mind control going on. And another thing that I really love about Dave is kind of a skeptic like me and a little bit of a reluctant, truth seeker. And I admire that because I think Tez is a little bit more confident than me, where I'm like, a little bit more skeptical, I
give
think.
yourself more credit. You're confident in ways that I wasn't. Like when I was first coming across you, the way you were speaking like full chest about certain things that was freaking me out. Like you've been giving me bravery along the way. Like we've been passing it back and forth. It's hot potato of bravery or whatever here.
Yes.
But
Awesome.
I got my notes, and actually I wanted to say about from the in the beginning of the Program to Kill. He mentions this book, The Hypnotism by George Estabrooks from like 1943
Yes.
or 1946 or something like that. I got there back in 2021 when I was reading the Bluebird book. It's in the Bluebird book. He mentions that. Like, so I'm wondering if Dave had read the Bluebird book or what, because there was a lot of parallels there. Like the same two books. I've been trying to show you and you me too also. So I sent you the thing over. We'll get you on that because it's like I was seeing some connections there. But I ended up grabbing that book. To check it out, and I hadn't circled back to it yet. So when I seen he mentioned that, I'm like, oh man, like we are on the trail. Like she is on the trail. We are on this. Like this is like it's all coming together at the right time, and it's kind of freaking me out. I think with just the way certain things are synchronizing, and then watching
The dominoes, right? And I always feel like urgency is ego, but like I don't want to be late.
Right? So shit.
I don't want to be late. I'm not gonna let it get left behind. Okay, so how are you gonna crack open this book?
I don't know where you even want to start, but like I don't even know. I guess we could, like, if you want to start with the John Bonet part of it and kind of work our way backwards, or like we could start with the Stephen Stainer thing, because there's more to that I was reading into that has to do with just the overall here. So I could kind of we could riff on that. I found it interesting he was talking about Phil Donahue and Johnny Carson, because I already felt weird about Johnny Carson. I don't know, I'm just going to peruse here. Oh, the Charles Manson stuff. He was missing a spot. Yeah. He was wondering what the connection was at the clinic. Yeah, that was Jolly West. Joylin West.
And he talks about Jolly
He does,
West
but then
later,
he didn't.
though.
Yeah, but I don't know if he connected it up again. So I was like, oh, I gotta mention that, because I don't know if maybe he circles back to it in something else too, or maybe
he does mention Jolly West. He dances around Jolly West.
Yeah, maybe
he told
was
me
scared.
everything about Jolly.
Yeah,
and then when I went and looked into Jolly, so like he's not like deceptive. He doesn't feel like, what I love about Dave is that he doesn't do the work for you. So when I went and looked more into Jolly and looked into the committee actual transcripts that you can find, right, I was like, oh, okay, it's this guy.
Yeah, well, he went into the Manson. He goes into the Manson, but then he didn't circle it back. So I was wondering if he just like, I don't know. I was wondering what he was doing with that, because I was like, you were on it. You know it's there, bud. Where were you on Jolly West with the Manson stuff? Maybe he talks about it more in the Canyon, though, because that's Canyon shit, right?
And I think there's another book that he does talk more about it in. I'll have to like look at, because I have a couple of his books, but like also kind of like me in the sneaky sense, like in a kind of like ADHD kind of way, where he'll be like, okay, I might have left it in a pin there, but I'm going to pick it up over here. And like, he wants you to like participate in that way, or he might leave it like that.
Good, because I did. I took notes, and then I added in my own little stuff in here and there, because I was like, there's another spot too where I was like, I think he's talking about Johnny Gosh, the Johnny Gosh case, but he doesn't actually say it. He says the Paperboy kids or whatever, and the milk carton thing. So like, there's a few things that good then, because that's kind of what I did. But the Manson thing, I would almost, I don't know if you want to expand on that this time, but I've dug a lot into that, and there's another book that goes deeper into. Somebody had come across the old filings, like there was boxes of the court filings, all the stuff that somebody was supposed to get rid of it, and they didn't, and the guy ended up with it, and he did like 5 years research, wrote this book on it, and it's very similar to how Dave McGowan he's done his stuff, but just on the Manson thing. And I don't know, I want to circle back to it, because when I read it years ago, I didn't know as much as I know now. So I know that's something I put a little pin in that I want to go back, because they he added in the John Lindley Frazier part, and I didn't know about that, but I knew about the Bobby Beausoleil. So like, and I'm still thinking that Susan Atkins she's the freaky one. She was into it. She was really into the blood, into the whole thing. She bragged about it in jail. That's how they caught them, right? So I don't know. We could go that way. We could go pretty much any way. I knew just a little bit almost about all the stuff he talked about, but there's a few things that it's like I definitely want to read it more into it, because it's part of something I've touched on, or like it's just all important.
Let's talk Manson.
Manson, if you want, yeah, right on. All right, we'll go.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Why not? Because I feel like Manson helps because so much there are our government and all the powers that be, they thrive in these acts of terror, right? And so how are these sleeper cells created? How are these agents deployed into society and able, you know what I mean? How are these people created, right? And Manson was created. So go off. Yes, please start there. I think it's easy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, like we could start just with his childhood alone. I think he fit every single, and then some. He checked every box for the pipeline for an MK situation. He was a perfect candidate as soon as he came into the system, into the juvenile system. The way they kept getting him off the street just in time for certain benchmark times of his life to get him back into the system for further programming. In my opinion, it checks all the boxes. But I don't know if I believe, like, this, the official story is not how it went. He wasn't even there for the crimes. He wasn't there for it. And even if he had suggested it, both of those people, like the family, the one family, the LaBiancas, were like a crime family, an organized crime family. And Polanski, everybody knew Polanski was into kids back then, all the way back then. So if he had said somebody should go get that guy, that Polanski guy, and if it happened, some of these teenagers hanging around doing acid around the fire and getting loaded, decided to go do something, that's not necessarily him orchestrating. Do you know what I mean? But I can see where the opportunities lie. Like he was almost the honeypot in a way, but differently. Do you know what I mean? For the amount of famous people coming through, for the girls, all this stuff happening, and they were all the throwaways. Like he said it himself. Like society didn't want him. I took him off the road and gave him a place to be, gave him a job or whatever, gave him something to do. Like he kind of felt like he was like being the street parent, I think, to a lot of these kids. So for them to,
and isn't that how Jim Jones talked?
A little bit. Jim Jones definitely is more the psyop arrangement, in my opinion. But I don't know. I have mixed feelings.
This is like these are entities that were, you know what I mean, deployed in similar fashions,
right.
But like the way that they ingratiated themselves with the left behind, right?
This is true.
To me, you know what I mean? Like what the power that comes in a vacuum of being a safe place for people that have been discarded, right? And
Valid.
So I just like,
well, that's a cult. That's any cult. That's like, the basis of any cult, right? Yeah.
They get these small little groups that, like, from these isolated peoples, these isolated populations, disenfranchised populations, and then they go to town. That's like where they start out, I feel like, to like really get their group. Because like you see with Manson, he wasn't at the parties. He wasn't like, you know what I mean? He had to like, I don't know, do some groundwork.
He's a wild card because he wasn't innocent. He wasn't innocent. I'm not arguing his innocence by any means. I know that he wasn't innocent. But I do also know that he was a little guy and he got abused a lot in some of these facilities, like harms and trespass fraud as a kid.
Without
the whole thing. And so then when he went back in, him affiliating with certain gangs and the way he was moving when he went back in and had all the media attention was more to protect himself, I would say, rather than being like trying to be a spectacle, you know. And then those gangs would make him out to be the spectacle as like, you want us to protect you, we're putting it right on your forehead, you know what I mean? So there's certain elements to it that I think they glorified it in a way, you know.
His survival adaptability, if you're thinking about somebody that was continuously institutionalized throughout their life, he had a level of intelligence despite any type of emotional traumatic disturbance. Manson did. And so Manson was always trying to manipulate and game how to get out of these institutions, and he was successful multiple times, right? So I feel like a part of his survival was a charismatic type of a personality that did attract these types of people that gravitated towards him, right? Like, but like, I'm like, you can see how a lot of his charismatic qualities came from and the experience of trying to get out of an institution, like trying to and experiencing abuse and being experimented on and isolated and going through all, like being a lab rat in a lot of instances and isolated and abused in these facilities, and you're trying to get out. So it's like this psychological, mental. battle.
No, you're not wrong. You're right on. So, okay, so do you think that he was in charge of his own system and that they needed to throw him under the bus? Or do you think they set some things in motion? Or because it was technically it's Susan Atkins, like she had committed the same crime previously to even getting to the ranch. Bobby Busele, the boyfriend, was sitting in jail for it. Squeaky Fromm, I think, was also with her, and they had done the exact same crime, played with blood, put it on the walls, did the whole thing. They put the guy away, but then they never touched on that during the court proceedings when they were trying to pin it on Manson. And they gave her immunity. They gave her and a few of the girls immunity to throw him under the bus. The Linda.
Doesn't it sound like they're like making a small special forces team out of these mutants that they're making? So isn't this like, you know what I mean? Like they don't want to show that this is clearly a designed operation, in my opinion.
Well,
like,
this is where
you to just focus on Manson, and they don't want you to look at what would have went into having all of these people working in the way that they did.
Yeah. Well, so this is it, is how much of it was it that he was bait or that he himself orchestrated, you know what I mean? I think is where it comes down to, where I'm still a little on the fence, but I've dug into that one pretty deeply. Like as soon as I found out he never actually killed anybody, but the way it was presented to me, and it's probably similar in the States how we all learned about Manson, but he was out like a serial killer. He was like the most deranged serial killer is kind of how he was presented, and I grew up thinking, right? So when I found out he never killed anybody, I'm like, oh, I got to read about this. I got to read on this one. And this was way before, like, this was sort of like an earlier awakening, I guess, before I was doing this YouTube stuff, right? But that was one as a personal project, I read pretty deep into, because I was like, there's something wrong here, and finding out about his childhood and whatever. And then so when I started finding out about the MK stuff, immediately I'm thinking about him as being something there. Yeah, you know, there's a connection.
What happens when your case study is out, right, and they are utilizing what you did to them to gain control and survive outside,
against you, right? Like he flipped.
He's no longer institutionalized. He's out, and what he learned, what he experienced, he then starts, you know what I mean, projecting on others, right? Doing the hypnosis, doing, you know what I mean, figuring out, finding systems, manipulating systems, and you know what I mean, orchestrating to have his needs met in a way that allowed him to not look like the guilty person, because he was so abused. He wouldn't want to get in direct trouble. He's like, I didn't do it.
So you think the power? Do you think the power went to his head? Yeah, absolutely. You're not wrong. I'm agreeing 1,000%.
I do think that there is a factor that could have been agency in that way, and then the people that are experimenting with him, the people that are utilizing this type of, you know, societal warfare amongst us, right? I'm like, we could name a few people that utilize MK Ultra, but when they're seeing and hearing, okay, he's over here and these things are happening, or now he's back on their radar. Now, how do we utilize you without it blowing back on us?
Yeah, right? Fair. Well,
because we made you. So it's like to sever people, like we made you. You're the monster now. How do we utilize the monster now?
Okay, because so do you think
out and exposing that, you know what I mean, or creating more monsters? So this is like a contagion now that they might have looked at and been like, how do we figure out how to get this contagion? And it reminds me of the new media with that Ashton Kutcher did. I think with Ryan Murphy, that was like biting off the substance with Demi. It's horrible.
The worst, but sorry, continue. Right? He's on the map. He's the worst, but continue. I'm sorry.
But well, yeah, of course he's on the map. But I wanted to look at the beauty because I knew I need to figure out what's going on with him, Bruce Willis, Demi, where that, you know.
Brittany Murphy.
So when I saw that he came out with a series that was similar to the movies that Demi did, I'm like, oh, he has something for Demi, so I'm going to look at this, right? But I'm also like, why the hell are we giving Ashton anything? What is Ashton putting in this? And then I'm seeing all the stuff that's in it. But anyways, I'm like, that's how it felt. Like watching it as a symbol, for me, this is how MK Ultra like kind of works, where it's like, oh, it's great. And the people that they are successfully, their little like, you know, products, it works for a time and then it self-destructs. And then other people are, you know what I mean? There's collateral damage, right? And that's where I look at Manson, and I look at a lot of different other cases where it's like Manson worked and they were experimenting on him, but then they're like, okay, let's release him. And then what happened, right? Like, I don't know. I deliberate on that a little bit.
I mean,
Oh,
so
yeah, I
okay, so
deliberate on
there's the
that.
next question then. So do you think that he was going rogue, getting too much power, and simultaneously they could take him out and kill the hippie movement because
Yes.
everyone was thinking too
That's
much?
basically, I think, what I was kind of like,
Yeah.
that's what I see
Yeah.
more so.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we're on the same fucking page. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, because yeah,
You know what I
he
mean?
was crap. He was trapped in between some shit. Is my figuring, and I did
Yeah.
think like there was attempts. They were using him. They were trying to bait him in with
And
music
aiding
contracts
him,
and shit. Yep. Yep. There was a lot.
helping,
There was a lot.
utilizing,
Mm-hmm.
putting him in places, using his network, multiple things. But like, if they couldn't handle if the cult that he created around the Manson personality, if other, you know how this works.
Yeah.
If he became too big, or you know what I mean, they thought that taking him out could be more symbolic, or they could infiltrate and birds with stones, right?
Yeah.
And I think, that's kind of how I saw it. And I feel like that's how Dave really examines it in the weird scenes of Laurel, right? Laurel
Yeah.
Canyon.
Yeah.
Am I repeating that right? Yeah, and he really kind of gets into that of it. So he expands more on Manson in that.
I think that's
Right?
probably
Where
why I
it's
started
like,
there, because I had read so much about
mhm.
Manson, and like there was some stuff I was reading into at the time that it's like I went that way, but then I was going into the John Bonet. I was basically dancing right around the PTK the whole time.
Yeah.
Which was great. It's fine because we're here now, right? And we got there. So, yeah,
Yeah, I
no,
don't think
that's
there's
cool that you
long
because
turns and elaborate.
well, the unique viewpoint of it, like that was I haven't read it put the way that he did it in a lot of other people's work since the other book I'd read about the Manson stuff. So I definitely wanted to touch on that with you because like that's one that I've dug, and I've got to go back. I did some videos of him before, but I've kind of come back and gone and been on the hiatus, pivoted, whatever. But I got a ton of stuff on him, and I kind of want to circle back to that sometime. I don't know. But I feel like that's a pretty
Okay.
pivotal, like not necessarily like whatever, like I'm just in general, I might do a video sometime again about it because I feel like such a pivotal of the time, of the era, and
Right?
such
Be
an
like a whole nother
intersection.
session just on Manson.
Yeah, like it's such an intersection of the Hollywood, the military, all these other, like there's a lot of factors. Like, and we could go into the Polanski stuff, like, cause that whole situation, and then I don't know, like this is where my theory kind of twists off on it, of like, cause he did Rosemary's Baby and Sharon Tate and like the situation. It's just there's a lot of little weird parallels there, and a lot of times, like with creative people, there's not such thing as coincidence. Do you know what I mean? So that freaks me out a little bit when you look into that, and like, cause maybe Polanski had, who knows, he could have had a little more to do with it than,
Oh,
as part of a.
without a doubt.
Do you know what I mean? Right?
He has too much influence.
Yeah.
He has too much influence still. And I'm like, it's not just about that guy's movies. Spare me, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then he comes up a lot in some weird things. Like, I don't know if you know, like, the Ryan O'Neal, Tatum O'Neal stuff. It's all messy. But he had sent the daughter and the girlfriend, who was also underage, overseas to just go away because their trauma was becoming a problem for them. So they went and they ended up being sent to meet up with Polanski, and he showed them weird Japanese material that basically we're going to go into talking about it. This is what he's dancing around. Like, PTK is basically dancing around the pipelines of feeding into the like the explosion. He talks about it in the beginning, that between the 60s and the 90s there's only 150,000 kids going missing every year, and it exploded to 2 million by the time they can get the shit on the internet. So what do you think was happening, right? So he's sort of dancing around it the whole time. Like, I feel like the whole book is like, here's some little pockets of things happening, and here's how some of them connect. You decide. You know what I mean? Like, I could see where it is, do your own work, right? But yeah, the Polanski, I feel like the hurtcore type stuff that he showed these kids over there, like there's a sickness. There's clearly a sickness, and they do try to put it in on the younger generations. And it's like some people, they're either a bystander, they're a victim, or they're a perpetrator. Like, there's no other way into the industry at this point. I don't really think there really is anyone that could be completely clean hands being an A-lister. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's like what the mind map really shows, is that you can't be this close, you can't be this interconnected and not have some type of frame of reference or awareness, even if you turn your head the other way, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I think so many artists do turn their head the other way, and to me that doesn't mean it doesn't exist just because they choose not to acknowledge it. And so I get kind of distrustful of the ones that act like, you know, it's completely impossible. Like when Zoe Kravitz makes Blink Twice and acts like she has never heard of Epstein, I know you're bullshitting. I cannot take you seriously.
Yeah. Well, then this is like the fine line, though, is like they're just as much in danger and putting themselves at risk. And if anything, more so because of the fact that they're public figures that have paparazzi and shit that keep eyes on them. Like, they would not be able to just hide. They couldn't just disappear. And I think that for them to be able to be a truther, there's another layer of danger there. And so to be able to tell the truth, but
I just don't even think that you should expect the truth from these compromised individuals.
You're right, though. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think that there's still that air of fear that maybe she got to a point and she wanted to go all the way and she freaked out. Like, you know, it's like a snail. They come all the way out of the shell, you poke them in the eye, boom.
Yeah, you could say that too, but like she is enmeshed with these abusers. You're not friends with Alexander Wang. You're not grooming Jaden Smith and not aware of the powers around
1,000%. But she's okay. This is an example of bred in captivity versus coming off the street. Do you know what I mean? Like where Drew Barrymore bred in captivity. But then you look at like any of these other kids. I don't know, like Brad Renfro. Or even like Corey Haim, where they kind of just come out of obscurity and then rise to the top, you know? So there's some that it's like organic, but not. It's like they fabricate it and they launch them.
Yeah, but they usually look for the kids that are like from abusive situations. Like look at Leo.
Yeah. Well, look at Leo. Let's go to Leo. He's interconnected right into the thick of it that connects back to kind of where I was going to touch on here.
When you go back to like the house, like his early life and before he was just thrown into the industry to the wolves, look at Justin Bieber. When they get the kids they pluck out that have talent from obscurity and then they get served up in the way that they do, it's like we know where these kids come from. Yeah. We know what they're selecting for.
Well, and it's time and time again. That's the sad thing is that Leo could have been the end of Pipeline there. Because Brian Peck was creeping on him back when on the show Growing Pains, way back when. Like everyone knows Brian Peck from the Drake Bell thing, the Nickelodeon stuff. He's been around for years with Growing Pains, and there's a kid that was attached to that show too that very intentionally versus an accidental had very intentionally taken his life. And when you look at how Brian Peck is connected to some of these Red Brick Road type people, like the Gacy and then some of these guys that he mentions too in PTK. And I wanted to circle back to that too because it kind of connects him with the Stainer. There's another book I was reading, The Eye of the Chicken Hawk, that talks about a lot of this stuff, and the Steven, I'll send you a thing for that too, because there's a few things that I could see jumping out that are like extensions of where he's going with it. It's like I don't know, an expansion pack, whatever. But he goes into the Stainer thing, and he connects up some of these guys too. Like he kind of confirms some of this stuff as I was looking into it, because I was seeing that there was a connection between Gacy and some of these guys, and there was a pipeline, and then straight into the industry. Between the director, this director, Todd Phillips, he's a big director, Hangover trilogy, the Joker movies. He did the Nambla Advocate movie back in '94. His production company, Stranger Than Fiction, did the Chicken Hawk Men Who Love Boys movie in 1994, and he was advocating for the Nambla guys. So, but he tries to keep that a secret. But he's very connected in with John Wayne Gacy as well. Like, I don't know, we won't go too much into it now. We'll go back around and then come back to this maybe, because this is going right into the deep dark of it. But there's direct connections into the industry, and between a lot of the stuff that that Dave was going into, I'm like, oh, this is filling in some of these blanks like perfectly on where I was, the direction I was going.
Share some of your notes of, like, you know, since it's like super fresh in your mind, and then I can kind of, you know,
roll with it. Go with you. Okay. Cool. Well, I guess, where else do I want to go with this? Because maybe we'll circle back, because that kind of goes into the Stainer stuff, too, because this is where it starts really crossing. The lines get blurred between their world and the Hollywood, so I'll come back to this. But the other thing I wanted to touch on is he mentioned Feral House, This it's a publishing house company, and I love that because they keep coming up for me. They were talking about the Shawcross clan, and I feel like that's a major pipeline situation. But the Feral House, there's a guy that was named Adam Parfrey, and that's an article I've been referencing regularly through this while talking about the whole iceberg of it all, like talking about the hidden symbolism of catering to these other people that are afflicted and serving them scenes in movies that they can gratify themselves with, that to the naked eye you wouldn't notice it. Like normal people wouldn't notice it. Yeah, like Nickelodeon does it. Iceberg, everybody does it. Like E.T. kids in his tighty whities for last half of the movie. Alfalfa from Little Rascals, same guy, same production people, a lot of the same people. Tidy whities running around, whole thing. On that set, 2 people started trespassing upon him, and he said it followed him from movie to movie. It was, a lot of them were the same little sphere of the same clusters of people, like, so that the patterns are here, and that's sort of like this developing theory I've been working on of how, like, they're signaling each other with some of the content in the movies, and the guys that are revealing their whole playbook are these NAMBLA guys, because they had their little newsletter talking about all their favorite people, and I'm sure there's ones that are into little girls too, but I kind of just got onto this tracks right now. But NAMBLA is a little more proud. They were a little more trying to be public, right? Especially in 1994, 1995. But their newsletter was basically like sharing scenes from movies from their favorite child actors that they were most into, and happens to be their favorite ones, the ones that were the most talked about out of all of them, are ones that are now red dots or have been whistleblowers, are an orange dot, are whistleblowers. So there's no doubt that there's a pattern there. And I guess the question just is, how much do these directors are willing participants and are into it also, or that do they know that they're catering to it? Is it accidental? Is it a one-time thing? Or is there a pattern? And for some of them, like the big iceberg of it all, and like his little buddies like Reiner and Hanks and all these other guys, it feels too intentional and too repetitive and too similar to convicted predators movies, like yeah, I don't know, go ahead from there. I guess we'll start there.
I mean I completely agree. I think kind of that's an easy way to kind of take a step back, I feel like, and see, okay, what is this media showing us, and what does this say about the people that are showing us these images, and who are they connected to, right? And so the way that Dave even talks about in his writing about just like throughout history, how we've learned how much the 3-letter agency that's supposed to not be working on American soil, but we know very much are at work on American soil, how much their hand, through Operation Mockingbird, or you know what I mean, like different ways that they have their hand in all of our media. But I mean, there's so many different movies where it's like, yeah, the government has their hand all in this. So I think kind of going to what you're talking about of like some of these directors, how do you decipher on like what control they have, how, like who actually gets the final say? And that's why I think I was so intrigued by the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni saga, right? Because I was like, oh, they've lifted back the veil. They're going to punish Blake Lively for lifting back this veil. They don't want Justin to win in this sense, because that'll, you know what I mean, destabilize business as usual, because hey, we weren't supposed to see how these things happen sometimes, or often. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like that double of like the system wanting to protect itself. So wanting to protect Blake Lively, but then also being like, oh no, we have to sacrifice you because you've exposed too much of how we do these things. So it's really hard for me. And you pose a great question of like, how much control and agency do these people have? Iceberg, definitely calling the shot, right? Like when we get in those types of conversations, I'm like, yeah, that guy knows what he's doing. All them boys know what they're doing, for sure.
Yeah. Like it's too obvious. It's way too obvious. There's too many. It's a pattern. There's a clear pattern. So, this is where I'm kind of hitting a little bit of a wall too, because like it's flying right right close to the sun here, but it's just it's like it's right itself, you know. And when you do start seeing these little pockets and how they connect in, like with the way Dave's connected some stuff, like I could see what he was doing with the ring around the rosy a little bit, where he could say it without saying it, because this kind of, I do this a little bit with my stuff, like I'll put it in front and I'll say it without saying it, and like I'll share a certain clip or whatever, like just to have it out there. But so I'm not necessarily making an allegation, because you know without it being decided in the court of law, you can't really accuse or make any just statements, right? But yeah, like it's way too direct. It's way too direct. It's way too like to the T of what these guys are about. And when you get into the darker side of it, where like I think he almost is on the edge of enjoying more of the harm than the trespasses, because he really is into the screams. He likes girls screaming, and he had little sisters, and I don't know, there's something weird there. He's fetishized it in a way, because like every kid, he gets them doing a scream. And then the thing with Heather O'Rourke and Drew Barrymore, like we're gonna go into that in a different one. I think we'll have to circle back to the Drew Barrymore or whatever, but there's a lot more there. Yeah. And I know you have opinions, and this is why I want to dig into it, because it'd be a good back and forth, I think. But this is where it starts going into the trail of the people that, like, there are people that are into the darker side. It's not even just the acts itself. They're into the harms. And there is a clear pipeline that connects right in with major people that were able to just work in the industry and have a career and everything's cool. But they're, like, why would you hang out with these kind of people? It's like you said, like, how many before it goes from suspicious to, or coincidence to suspicious, right?
Excuse me. Yes. I'm like... that's like, I think somebody that I feel I go back and forth on is Ben Affleck.
Oh.
I'm like, dude.
He's confused. He just went back to Jen, didn't he? Jen and Ben, fucking J-Lo?
Yeah.
Or whatever, not Jen,
but that's
J-Lo.
somebody that I'm like, dude, he was somebody around like Harvey Weinstein where he was like, yeah, everybody knew. Okay. I at least, like, that's not funny to me, but like, I was just kind of like, at least he wasn't bullshitting like some other people.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, no, we were aware. Yeah, we still worked with the guy. Everybody still worked with the guy. But yeah, people knew. I was like, all right. But like Ben, I'm like, Ben, you're around a lot of these different people, but in a less spooky way than I see Leo.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, Leo, I have a theory on that too. It's called the DiCaprio effect, and it's like, I don't know, I'm still working on that one too, but he,
right, and I'll try to
like,
find a way to like connect.
You know what it is? Do you know what it is? Okay, he was preyed upon by men and women as a small child, so when he became past a certain age, it was only women in their 20s that weren't really bothering him, I feel like, and so that's where he feels safest. Like, because they wanted older men. I don't even think he likes them. They would have been, by the time they're 18, 19, 20, they're going for older guys. They're not chasing after the 12-year-old boy. They're taking care of him like a little brother. You know what I mean? I'm going to crack your brain open with this. Go for it. All right. I don't think he's dating those girls. He's not. Okay, you think it's a cover? You think it's a lavender?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, those are all arrangements. You can't date girls that young in the industry, like, seeking fame, and they never talk about him.
Yeah.
It is so rare.
Well, he probably takes
dates blinds, but yeah.
Yeah, could be. Well, I know he's got the other. He does have the other edge. He's one of
the ones that Hollywood owns in the way that they own freaking Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Certain people that Hollywood will never allow to come out. The fact that we believe Bradley Cooper is hetero, even though he was out in New York before he had his big Hollywood run.
Yeah, fair.
This is old Hollywood. We have not changed. It does not matter how much they put quote unquote liberal certain acts in front of us and the certain programming. Yeah. They will not let certain actors be gay. Why isn't Hugh Jackman out?
Yeah, fair. Yeah, because he is a little bit too. Well, in X-Men. Okay, so the Bryan Singer. How much do you know about Bryan Singer? Because I didn't get a chance to check that thing that you were telling me, that podcast yet. But I've done a lot of research on Bryan Singer, and he's all over this map for a reason. Like, yeah, I've read into the Den stuff. I read into with you. But yeah, like the X-Men thing, and like all those connections that connect back to the Bob Villard and the Brian Peck. All of that connects. Like, Bryan Singer is a big node on this shit. And then the den was very blatant. I don't know if it ended, you tell me what they talk about in that podcast, because I can go anywhere about Bryan Singer. I know all about Bryan Singer. He's a
They
freak.
talk about, they go through all of the blind items of him having basically his own version of white parties with, he mentions Ryan, but he mentions Hugh a lot. Hugh, Ryan Murphy is involved, I'm pretty sure, from those, but they go through all of the blind items about him and young teen boys.
So it's Mark Cullen's-Rector was the mansion. Mark Cullen's-Rector's mansion is where they were shooting it. They were trying to be the precursor to Netflix. And that was their cover, the mansion parties. It was, this is before Diddy. So you know about it. All right, so we're on the same page on that too. Chad Shackley was the young boy that was connected with that Mark Cullen's-Rector used as partly bait, but also Brock Pierce, which we kind of touched on a little bit on the last one. And this is what I'm kind of dancing around, because he's I don't know, weird stuff was happening when I was talking about him last time, so I don't know, we're going to leave that one. But Ian McKellen, Ian McKellen and Bryan Singer, apt pupil, was this weird Stephen King movie thing from the 90s. That was Brad Renfro, and I feel like Bryan Singer, Brad Renfro for sure. And
because Bryan Singer is so much like Kevin Spacey, and
friends, they're friends.
Yeah,
they're friends. He's in there too. Yeah. He was Usual Suspects.
So they used to have those parties with Hugh.
Yeah.
Hugh, Spacey, Singer, they were all at them parties.
Well, those den parties, when that got shut down.
The blind items.
Yeah.
And photos.
No, it's for real. No, it's not allegedly. It's not allegedly. The guy was arrested, and he was found with a bunch of media offshore when he tried to flee to Spain. Mark Cullen's-Rector. It wasn't allegedly. This was real, and it was backed up by Microsoft, Dell, Chase Capital. It's a real thing. It wasn't just pretend, or not just pretend. It wasn't just a one-off or a blind item thing. I've got all the deets on that shit. That's a real deal. And connecting some big guys like Garth Ancier, Gary Goddard, David Newman, the Geffen guy, which is Interscope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we'll leave that for now. But Bryan Singer's a big one. I've done a lot of reading into too, because he connects to a lot of these kids and the pipeline and the Usual Suspects. Is literally, he did that movie, and
he connects to the CW yachting pipeline.
Oh, see,
similar to how because Victoria Justice is always being talked about and is known as a high-end yacht girl.
Poor girl. That's a Disney kid.
And the Whispers, with her, with Victoria Justice. But the Camp Padua, everybody, so it's the gossip, the gossip girl, what's the Nate Archibald from there, that actor, a few of those people, and some of the people from the CW sphere, from Vampire Diaries, all of that, that podcast goes into all of that, and it connects it to Bryan Singer. And a lot of the young CW talent and all of that in that 2000s kind of era, and how he also has his fingers in that.
Excellent. Okay, because that is a missing piece, the yachting.
Guys. And that to me, I'm I'm trying to connect Bryan Singer to Les Wexner, back up to the Abercrombie of it all. Those Camp Padua, a lot of those modeled for Abercrombie too. So it's you're seeing these different traffic stops kind of hit and people be rotated around.
Well, those two guys, I have it. I just flipped the map over to the Trumpstein map because I have that on here. Mike Jeffries, Matthew Smith, they were arrested for traffic jams, 100 men. Over 100 men came forward, and by 2024 they were arrested by the feds and they were charged for the Abercrombie and Fitch thing. So at least there, we're starting to see some shit go down. We're seeing some shit go down. People don't think arrests are happening, but they're the silent investors almost, or the side guys. You never hear their name, and those sometimes are the worst guys, right? So they're starting to take those guys out. But the Abercrombie and the Les Wexner guy, because he connects to Victoria's Secret and La Zenza, and that's the trifecta of the modeling, the fashion, lingerie, whatever stuff, and that's a whole another pipeline. I think the pageants go right into it, it's all part of it,
Yeah, I mean, because what was the guy? Oh, Mike Jeffries was the guy that was initially arrested and behind the Abercrombie of it all.
Yeah, he's like 80 or something now, but yeah, it's Mike Jeffries
Yeah.
and Matthew Smith. And so it was the class action lawsuit in 2023 with 100 guys got together. And then in 2024 they were arrested. So I think they're still, they might, like one guy I think got bail because he's old. But like it's coming down. It's starting to come down. Like the House of Cards is coming down. Finally. Shit, I should. Let me shoot. Maybe we check on the chat here a little bit because I did see a lot of people. They are with us though on it. They a lot of them were saying in the comments too that they'd read. They finished their homework too, so that's why I started nudging you a little bit too because I was like, okay, everybody's starting to finish their homework. It's time for the next class session here.
Yeah.
But it sounds like and thank you Veronica for that. I appreciate. Then she's just saying thank you for everything that we do and give us $5, so that's cool. Which we should figure that out because I was gonna do like for on streams or whatever. When people are donating, like we could do a split or whatever if you like, and it can go towards whatever the fuck you're doing. Not that you need it or anything, but just as fair as fair. Because if people do, sometimes sometimes they do shoot more than sometimes it's a few bucks, but sometimes it's 20, whatever. And I was kind of thinking like when I do collabs, may as well split it. It just seems fair, especially you guys that are just trying to get started and get over on YouTube. To put back into it.
Yeah, but I feel like that for now, I'm like, no, I actually have to pick your brain for more YouTube support. So
yeah,
we'll figure that out down the line.
Yeah, so then it could just go like whatever, because like Canva costs money, CapCut costs money, all this shit costs money too. So try to like dig into it too. It's almost like it's more of a commitment when you're trying to do the YouTube. So like if it helps offset that cost, like, and because you had this thing the other day, man, like it's like that's a situation. Somebody's costing money. Like that's bullshit, right? So at least like because you get dents like that. And I had a weird thing happen this week too, where I got dented by a good friend for like $750. So I'm like, this is bullshit too. Yeah. But like, it's all happening at once. I feel like there's such weird shit, and I've heard from a few other people that are like in the same sphere that are just having weird shit happen this week. I don't know what it is, but I think if we share like we're all trying to just support each other in the fucking thing. So I kind of mentioned it to you I think when we were talking last, but yeah, I'll work it out. I'll start I'll have to try to figure out how to keep track, but it's on a monthly whatever. We'll figure it out later. But anyway, thank you for that, Veronica. Yeah, they're right here with us with the MK, and they're jumping to the Dahmer, Bundy, Gacy, the collectors. I wanted to talk about the collectors too because there is like a pattern of the Gacy and then the Paskey and the Coral. That's kind of where I was figuring we would circle to, we'd work up to, and that would be kind of the ending. So we don't have to rush to it, but the connections between these fellows, it did come up in the PTK, and this was stuff I was already looking into of how like that's literally the pipeline of the Red Brick Road, and then the collectors of collecting the kids, because it's like some of them are just the just expendables, so to speak, and I hate saying it like that, but that's kind of what it is, where the kids in the industry, those are like the gems, those are the ones that people are going to pay big money to have media or time with. Do you know what I mean? There's a different hierarchy there, same as like with the John Bonet's situation, right? And these are the guys, these are the dirty work, these are the dirty hands. And John Wayne Gacy, they kind of made him an example of him. He kind of became a celebrity, and like Brian Peck was like his fucking pen pal, fan mail guy, and then that Todd Phillips guy worked with him for this movie, the G.G. Allen, what the heck was it called? I just had it. Hold on, let me flip to it. I actually started another map, so hold on, let me find it again. Here it is. Oh, G.G. Allen and the Murder Junkies. And basically Todd Phillips had John Wayne Gacy do the merch art and the posters, and then basically John Wayne Gacy had helped produce that early film of Todd Phillips, because they sold the merch, they sold the art, and it was John Wayne Gacy. And then Todd Phillips went on to be this big friggin' guy. He did everything, basically. So he did the Chicken Hawk movie, but then he does the Hangover series, he did Joker 1 and 2, he did a lot of the old, like, bro movies, like Road Trip, Old School, Borat, School for Scoundrels, Project X. Definitely, that was some programming there to encourage the these kind of mansion parties and stuff. It's almost like glorifying it. Like half of it was just glorifying to bring in more of the whatever. But anyways, there's a direct connection with the Gacy, and I feel like these are the people outing themselves that they're into not just the acts themselves, not just the trespasses themselves, that they're into kids getting harmed. And it's not that it's like, obviously it's all bad, but like this is where we're getting into like the 9th degree of danger zone for kids all around in the industry, in the street, everybody should know about this, because they're in your backyard, the paper boy down the street, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know where you want to go with that, but he does touch on the Johnny Gosh thing. I'm pretty sure he's talking about it when he's talking about a couple of these guys, the Johnny Gosh, the milk carton kid, which that all connects in with the Michael Aquino, Paul Bonacci.
Well,
I don't know.
okay.
Where do you want to go with it? Because like I know what I know, and I kind of have an idea what you know through his book, but I know you've done other research beyond, right? So
Yeah. And I think too, I'm trying because like I know the chat, I don't know, like read the chat, let me
more
know
chat,
like, what you
okay.
think. Yeah.
Well, they were just
No,
they're going into it. They're
I'm just
bringing it
saying,
up.
like,
They're jumping
yeah,
ahead of
they're
us.
bringing.
You know what I mean? They're here.
Oh,
They're with
okay.
us. They're with us. So they're mentioning, like they just mentioned a bunch of people's names that I have written down. Like the what's this one? The Berkowitz. Let me go back. Hold on. It just jumped on me. Yeah, they mentioned the Dahmer, Bundy, Gacy, and then Manson. Let me keep scrolling down here. So, but I think we're hitting on it because now I'm just going backwards to catch up. But they're already with us here on it. But they're already mentioned it. Like they're on the same page here, and I think they're just picking up what we're putting down, which is good. But I should try to keep up with them here too, because they're a part of the conversation. A lot of them, a lot of them have read the Laurel Canyon too, the weird scenes. So they're all right here with us. A lot of them have just
Yes,
been waiting
yes,
for me to
yes.
catch up. I guess all y'all have been at the table waiting. Jeez, my bad, guys. Sorry. Links to old money, old opium money. Some of these guys, they're onto it. They know what's going on. They've been following along and putting in their. The LSD thing. Okay, that's another one to touch on. So they're saying the doing a lot of LSD or whatever. This one guy is just commenting, and I did write down about this Gary Heidnick guy and his stuff he was doing with the LSD, and I think that was like a different version of Operation Midnight Climax. Like that's the
Yes.
evolution, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's something we could go into, like, and we're still doing good for time, actually, so that's not too bad. Like, so we
Yeah.
could go any direction here. All right, let me catch up here with these guys a little bit more. They're bringing up Cappy. Cappy's kind of a common thread, and I think he was a little bit confused with some of the stuff of who to trust, but he was saying some stuff that, like, and he was trying to get people to wake up. And I think them taking him out was almost the same as them getting Charles Manson thrown in prison. I think it was almost the same, a little bit the same of how the movement was happening, you know. Okay, what else we got here? Yeah, they're picking up a lot of these. There a lot of people know more now about the history of the MK stuff, which is actually really impressive. Like I've seen a lot
Yes.
of coming around. Like they know it. They're here for it. They're like the World War II stuff must have led to the mind control and brainwashing experiments of the 50s and
Yes.
beyond. Like yes, you guys get it. You're getting it. You're here. Okay, who we got? A lot of them are just adding to the conversation more than asking questions, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Like they're here. They did their
Well,
homework. They're here
and
for
just
it.
like just go where you think that they
Well, what do you
if
guys
there's,
want? Like, you guys, do you have questions? Does anybody have questions? Do you want to put in some questions, and we'll keep touching on some of this because it sounds like we're all
or
pretty
if
much
the
on the
chat
same page.
has some familiarity, like where has what I mean, like your understanding of the hippie free love movement and where what I mean, like
I think
I'm
I think
where is I would love to know people's like reference point because for
yeah.
me it's like everything everywhere all at once in a lot of ways, and so the more that I understood like propaganda and how it just makes sense to me, right? Like all of it makes sense, how the military and how they're utilizing military kids, the fact that I was a military brat but I was also scouted by Nickelodeon. I'm like, these things, like they're coincidental and they're not coincidental, right? Like there's formulas to this stuff, and I would love to hear maybe for you or the chat, like more of like, okay, if you started in this rabbit hole, where did it take you? Like once you're understanding of how these certain systems are released, into the wild, or what I mean, our systems, our institutions experiment and try to employ these ticking time kabooms in our society. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how does that work for y'all today? Like, how do you use this information from the past and how are you applying it to the present day? Because I feel like so much of this, like we can take in so much of the history and kind of understand how our government has moved up until this point, but like how are we applying it to the present?
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's something that I would be curious to ask you in the chat.
Yeah. So you guys, I want to ask some questions. Like there'll be a bit of delay, but I'm almost caught up here. So if you guys throw some questions in, we're gonna do the question segment here. I don't know. I'm still kind of figuring out the formula in the format or whatever, that how I want to do this. Like, and I don't know. I kind of want to change some stuff, like with the thumbnails and stuff with this mind map thing. I don't really know what I'm doing yet. I'm just going with it. But
yeah, we're hanging out, guys.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I think that the main thing is that the indulgence and the to excess and the deviance reaches a peak in the industry, and they feed into it, and they want people to buy into it. They want people to start being their most indulgent selves, and they get to them to a point, and all of that ends up feeding into a hierarchy, and that's the customers, the people, like there's the people that would have the money to be able to pay to have this kind of content, that are into this kind of content. If they're not making it themselves, who's making it, and where are they getting it from, and why? Like, and you know what I mean? Like, there's, like, I'm starting to see that direct pipeline, that it's not even about the entertainment anymore. It's about everyone trying to get a piece. Like, I'm asexual at this point, honestly. Yes. Like, I've, at this point, the way that I see things now, like, I'm just, like, I'm done. It's dead. It's dead for me, because, like, the amount of horror is happening because of people's, like, it's the hunger, like, you know?
So many
drugs
people
and hunger.
Engage. Yeah, so many people engage with, like, corn brain, right? So to me, it's like when you see all the symbols, you see all of this, it's like, do you know what actually turns you on? Like, because if you really examine it, it might give you the ick, or it should, right? And so for me, it's, we've been so saturated with a lot of pollution and corruption and deviance that I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna stand right here, and I'm gonna have to do some serious vetting. Like,
for real. For a long time ago, actually, it's been years now, I stopped consuming adult content, because I felt that for the most part, anybody in that position, it's either forced, like, out of need, like, for survival or some other thing, and that for the most part, a lot of them were harmed as kids, to be putting themselves and thinking that that's what they have to offer the world, or feeling that's their last resort, or whatever the situation is. I feel like this is a harm material, even if they're adults. Like, you're not doing anything wrong watching it, but I felt more guilty, you know, like that. This, like, there's something wrong in the world. Like, I was sort of just starting to wake up, and I didn't know everything I knew now, but that was already a conscious decision I made years ago. And now, though, like, it's to the point where I'm just like, I'm on strike, because I don't think I could even get in the mood at this point, knowing what I know and not seeing anything done about it. The amount of kids every single day going through this pipeline, and, like, from the bottom to the top, like, we were watching it play out right in front of our eyes this whole time. Like, I'm going into this, doing the new little series, the Hollywood Bites stuff, just going back and showing little segments of them basically mocking us, like, putting it right in your face, like, this is funny to us. You're all little fodder. You're just coming along cattle for the slaughter, or whatever, you know? So that's where I stand on that. Go ahead.
No. I found some of my old notes. Like, I had to, like, go find my old Canva, because I was like, wait, this isn't the right Canva.
Oh no.
But what I loved most about Dave was his examination too of satanic panic, and the way that was utilized, right? Like, where they're like, oh, we're gonna make you think everything is satanic, and then we're gonna hide the actual satanic stuff, right? Like,
and the false memory, programming
they put
thing.
It on your nose so hard that, like, there was satanic panic, but it was like, just like the ways that they destabilize us from being able to critically think.
It's the bait and switch, and then dissociating. They had it overloaded so that we would dissociate, and then they bait and switched it. So then when it came up and it was for real, people couldn't tell the difference, and it was easy for them to say, oh, it's a hoax. Oh, this one's a hoax too. Yeah, 60 kids have STDs, but I don't know what happened there. We're not going to investigate, but don't worry, it's a hoax anyway. Like, that's a physical evidence of something going on. And if it's not happening at home, where is it happening? And if they're not investigating what's happening out of the home, why are they not investigating what's going on in the home? Why are we just shutting it down like all the kids are making it up, like they're full of shit, but they literally have, do you know what I mean? They have all the physical evidence you need to know somebody's trespassing on the damn kids, right? So...
Yes.
because he talks about it, the McMartin and the Presidio, all this, that all connects in a big way to the John Bonet also, like in the North Fox Island. Like, I went deep on that shit, and that changed me. Like, I think that's what I need. I couldn't do it anymore. Like, I went celibate. I've been celibate since probably that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have some of you fiddling in between with, here and there, but nothing, like, I can't get, like, I have trouble eating, sleeping sometimes, like, for what I know,
retired to the convent.
Yeah, you get it.
You're in the monastery, I'm in the convent.
It's freaking right.
I mean, it is what it is.
I think at this point, I don't know if it's even, I'd have to check, but what is it, like 2 years you have to go as a monk or whatever? I think I'm just about there, and I'm like, fucking sign me up, because I can't, like, there's no way, it's so hard now, like, in doing this every day, and how, like, I'm overzealous about this in the way that you are, do you know what I mean? But from a different angle, and for my own personal reasons, and for experiences I've had in different levels of industry stuff, like, in a different way, which I'm kind of warming up to talk about it, but it's kind of hard, because it's, like, more an online thing that was a precursor to this, and I have to tread carefully, sort of, also in certain ways, you don't want to
activate a beast system,
right, like bite the hand that feeds you, right? No, I gotta be careful. But so, like, I think like, until I could see actual progress, like real, like, because there is progress, I am seeing some progress right now, but until we're seeing some real dismantling of this system, I don't, like, I just can't. I don't know. It's changed me in such a big way. It's kind of I don't know. But how can you not? Once you see it, and I think more people need to feel this way. I think everybody needs to feel the kind of sick in my stomach I feel some nights, and can't losing sleep over this, because this is everywhere. Yeah. It's everywhere. It's everyone. And nothing's really happening. Like, we're seeing so much happening, but nothing's happening. Do you know what I mean? Like, with
I really loved 1,000%. I really loved. From one of Dave's interviews, he said, I felt like it was time to tell a different version of the story, the one that can be found hiding in the details that are usually left out. Mm-hmm. But what I love about Dave is that Dave still leaves out details, but, like, what he chooses to add in changes the conversation in a lot of ways. And I think that us coming together, like, what we see in these different stories, right, I think allows us to have a greater conversation and tell a different version of the story, and really kind of learn and adapt in a new way, right? And I think that that's, like, what I was trying to, like, word vomit via some audio notes to you when we were preparing for this. But that's kind of where I've kind of reached, where I'm just like, okay, if everybody's telling a story, like, what facts make the most sense that tell a new story that they don't want us to see?
Yeah.
And so
this is it. The read between the lines. That's what it is. And that's kind of what I was trying to do with the map, and sort of, like, with my certain videos and stuff. It's like, I want you to be able to read between the lines. I can't necessarily say what's between the lines directly, but here is everything around it. Like, just read between the lines, please and thank you. That's what this is. And just for the map, when people look at the map, because I give the link so they can have the map access for on Patreon for right now, but I'm gonna open it up maybe. I don't know what I'm doing with it yet, but I want people to fill in the blanks for themselves. I want them to start noticing, like, and people haven't. They've started to notice the patterns in some of these movies, and it's standing out, and how they felt weird about this movie and they didn't know why, and people make fun of them for feeling weird about it. But the whole time, it's, like, in your face that these guys, they're trying to entice the kids, like, with their content, or they're changing something in their mind with like awakening sexualization or certain stuff that they shouldn't be thinking about yet. But it's content, coming of age. The coming of age genre on its own really is like a, And
I mean, I feel like these things keep happening. It's like when all of the Diddy trial lead up, and all of that, the sentencing, when people were like, a lot of us that have been versed in this material studied various similar situations, right, where we're like, there's more going on here, and why isn't anybody connecting it? And when I think of the Diddy case, I think of, like, okay, the Son of Sam case, and how, in the Son of Sam, like, in the letters, it's referencing occult symbols and CIA linked cult systems. So it's like, what? And the NYPD And the FBI totally ignored these ties, right? And these ties would have led them back to broader traffic stops and rings.
Well, you know what it is? That's the National Security Act.
To law enforcement, that were connected to the military, that were connected to the government. And so we see these things over and over and over again. And I think for me, it's like, it's more comforting to see these things in connection, right? I'm like, they keep doing it. And I think that's a lot of what Dave connects in his writing. He's like, this scenario in front of me that happened in we throw out a date, 2004. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be weird if I didn't know what happened in 1986, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The age of information. This is why we gotta seize it for what it is. Like, because the interconnectedness. Like, they want us to be so disconnected, but we have so much connection, so much information. We have everything we need. You know. But people they're not, some of them aren't ready for it, I think. Like, they're waking up, and people are kind of ready, and they kind of think they're starting to see what's going on, but then some stuff comes in their face, and it's like, but it's just what it is. Like, it's a trauma, almost figuring out how much trauma is rotting away in the underbelly of society, you know? Oh. I think
sorry.
you're.
I realized I was on mute. Yeah.
Shit, I was gonna say, no, did you drop off? Fuck.
Yeah, no, I'm talking along here. I'm saying,
no.
1,000%. I'm like, just yapping behind the mute.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. But yeah, no, I think. Well, with the Diddy, there's a lot there too to unpack. Like with the Pasternak, that Harley Pasternak guy, like that's all part of the system in such a big way. Like, and I feel like we're basically just looking at organized crime circles of the pipeline, because they're going to get different things from different people, whether it's drugs or people or worse things, like getting access to these kids at the party. Like, how do you know the shit Justin Bieber's probably going through right now? Like, I feel for the guy so bad, and him doing the child date or child healing stuff or whatever. Like, I didn't watch Coachella or whatever. I don't watch that bullshit. But I saw some clips and stuff going around. I'm celebrating that kid right now. I'm like, yes, buddy. Yes. Like, just love your inner child. Just do what you want to do. Just fucking do, you know. Be you. Like, we understand, you know.
Perform actual healing, if, you know, that is actual art, right? To me, is like, it's very obvious that he's working through a trauma publicly, and it's like, to change, to actually be working with light alchemy when you were preyed upon for dark alchemy for so long, it is empowering. So, like, no matter what, you're just like, yeah, go off, because you're a product of that system regardless. You didn't have a choice. So we have accepted you for everything that you've experienced. So to me, like, it's just an expression of empathy, right? I'm like, dude, I feel for him like I feel for Britney.
Yeah, same. Yeah, she's right up there. They're pretty much equals. Like, I gotta fill it in more, but it's like they're a big hub of this, of been taken for a ride. And I feel like a lot of, like, that he was like a main event at some of these Diddy parties, and between Diddy and Ashton and some of the stuff that was going on, and the reasons that Brittany Murphy and like Anne Heche and some of these people, even Diddy's baby mother Kim Porter or whatever, there was a lot of similarities there. And then, like, we could go into the Jamie Foxx thing, because he did say, like, he was poisoned or whatever. Like, there's some stuff going on there and we don't have to go right into it right now, but that's sort of where I've been circling. And that's like a fear pit too. It's like there's a lot going on there. Like, it's evolved over the years, because you can see where in the 90s with like the Den stuff with Bryan Singer and all his pals, it was one way, and then they learned from that and they evolved it. So then they started introducing different drugs that would help make it so people would be very highly suggestible and maybe even hallucinating at times and thinking they're seeing weird shit. So when they try to tell the story, they sound insane, right? Like where Britney Spears is talking about seeing the reptile people or whatever, and then people are like, oh yeah, she's crazy. Yeah. No, they have them on drugs. It's Operation Midnight Climax, part of it, right? And where are they getting the drugs? Where are they getting the drugs? Kanye been trying to tell us the whole time. And everybody's saying Kanye's friggin' crazy. And Tequila too. Tila was pretty close to these parties, to these Diddy parties. I don't know why this is working. I think it just froze. Stupid thing. Whatever. Oh, there we go. But they were trying to say, Kanye and Tila were very openly trying to say some stuff about the Diddy parties and those spheres for a long time. And everybody tried to make them out to be crazy. And well, look who's crazy now. Like, look who was saying it the whole time, you know? And this guy, like, he's not the only guy, though. I don't think Harley Pasternak's the only... Oh, for fuck's sakes, I just fucked it up. That's okay. I'll fix it. But he's one of the main dealers of the drugs most people wouldn't... Not as a recreational, but as a technical drug. He's a Canadian version of the CIA guy. He did the national defense of the... And so he had access to all these different drugs and did experiments himself on... different people to be able to, like, say they wanted to have a military guy stay up for 3 days straight to be able to do a mission. Well, what else would that work for if you're on tour? Or if, you're doing parties and you want to have a fucking freak off, or you want to, you know what I mean? So where did it carry over from him doing it for the National Defense of Canada or whatever to now you're a celebrity personal trainer? Like, okay, Rosemary's Baby, mix me up a fucking smoothie there, bud.
And the nitrous of it all.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying. But so go off. You go ahead. Take it from there.
No, I'm just like, I just think that there were so many ways that we were seeing. I mean, like, when you're talking about with, like, Harley, it's Harley, right?
Yeah, Harley. No, it's Harley Pasternak. I know everybody does it. It's okay.
Yeah.
They did that on purpose.
He was connected to Mac Miller.
Yes. And Brittany Murphy, and okay, we're going to the map. This is the messy version of the map, but this is how the map sort of was going to start, was for the Brittany Murphy, and now it's not loading. Give it a second. There we go. It's being weird a little bit. I was trying to keep it on it here, because it's trying to be a little weird, but it's okay.
Supposedly coincidental unalivings. I'm like, oh, okay, this guy is connected.
So Mac Miller, Ariana Grande, that situation. He's also connected to the Kanye, Kim Kardashian. He was connected in such a way to Kanye, like Aaron Carter was trying to reach out to Kanye when Kanye was talking about Harley. Like the day that Kanye was talking about Harley being the handler and how they treat celebrities, Aaron was like, hey, we should talk, Kanye. And then, like, the next day Aaron was dead. Kanye's come out to say that Harley had him taken out. Like, he's been saying it, but people don't listen to him because he's crazy. But all these deaths, the way that they connect back to certain people at a certain time, and coming back to the certain era within these groups of people and what was going on. Like, you're talking about the Demi and the Ashton and all that, and then the previous ex, and then we're not talking about the Cornell, like, all these deaths that were all, like, I was connected to them in a big way, and they all come back to the Brittany Murphy thing, because she was going to blow some shit off. She was getting ready to blow off, I'm going to tell you. I got to finish the final episode of that. But anyways, it all connects in. Like, I sort of did the backwards, forwards of, and then some of these people connected into Nickelodeon, and, like, this is the messy version of what the big version. And it's the dead from the Diddy and the Brittany Murphy, and how they all connect. So yeah, like, I don't know how much, maybe we're going to just leave that one there, because that kind of circles back to the forward things that are happening right now, in a way, that we're not going to talk about right now. But like, there's it's all a lot more connected in a very sick way that I think a lot of people realize, and I think that's why I keep getting pushed back on the Brittany Murphy thing. So I've been trying to put that out for a long time, and then I just keep adding updates to it, and it just keeps getting more confirmed of where I was going with it right from the get-go, which is kind of fucking crazy, but here we are. But Mac Miller, Harley was very blunt about that. He was, like, almost trying to brag about getting away with that with some of his posting about it. You noticed that too?
And that's how he acted with Kanye, right? And I'm like, who is this guy that's allowed to just, it hurts. It hurts on a level.
Well, and we don't want to do that. Come back. This thing's kind of freaking out on me. Hold on. There we go. I do have it on here, the Ariana Grande, and it does connect back to Pasternak, but then Mac Miller, and then that music, there's something there. There was something more there. I've added it on here for a reason and left space for a reason, but nobody's safe. All of the companies, we're looking at everybody, and then I guess the Victorious, I guess to circle back to the Victoria Justice, this is where some of that yacht party stuff I got to fill in. But it all connects. This is what makes it so hard, because they're all connected in such a way that, like, you could go any direction and it's the same elephant. You're running in the same, you're stepping in its shit, I guess I should check back for the chat for some questions here, because I kind of told him to ask questions and then I left him hanging. But that way it gives them some time, and then we can go through them here. They were talking about, some of them are adding in some more stuff about the Bryan Singer Going to Marbella, yeah, the Marbella, Spain. Yeah, I go into that more on the in the Charlie Sheen video and in some of the Lucasberg, some of the newer videos. But then yeah, the Charlie Sheen, I go right into the den stuff and touch on a lot of the red dots, how they connect through that network. Uh, yeah, like I think they're all kind of with it. They're kind of just agreeing that it's all to go. Like when we had the golden age of where adult erotica stuff started coming into the Hollywood sphere, where everything was erotica, like historical erotica, like Caligula shit. We got the horror thriller erotica, whatever. Like everything was erotic, and then they started blurring the lines from there. I think it just started going to complete shit from there, as far as the pipeline of people. Like it's almost the diminishing returns. They were getting more depraved and more deviated from that point, and the opportunity. The opportunity is there, right? All right, questions. Somebody was asking about the Nick Ryder thing, which I guess maybe we should touch on that because that's tomorrow, I think, too.
Yeah. Dive into that, and then update me a little bit on the David of it all.
Do you want to talk about that? Like where I almost was gonna just pivot.
Like you've been researching,
I know a lot about it, and I think I'm in trouble. Like not in trouble, but I've been getting, like some stuff was happening to you at the same time as happened to me, and I was almost wondering if what was happening to you was because of that. Almost,
Right.
So I don't know if you want to talk about it just yet fully.
What happens to me when I talk about that? So
I know.
I'm just,
so I didn't know if it was your island or if it was because like the timing, and I.
It was the timing, and
So I don't know if you want to.
People started liking the videos I made last year talking about it and asking me for an update based on. They're like, hello, Desi. People that don't even know me, right? But they like saw those videos and they're like, wait a minute, I'm actually like captivated somehow by whatever I was saying about it.
Well,
and they're like, do you have any update based on what's going on now with David? And I'm like, I've been reluctant, dragging my feet. But I do think, a little update.
If you would like to, or maybe we do it on our next one or something, and we can kind of prepare where we want to go with it. Because I'm treading.
Tell me, like,
honestly, okay, I'm gonna say, I'll tell you this. I think that some of the information I provided to that private investigator guy that was hired by the people that have the house, that was part of what had led to some stuff that uncovered the next thing that's now finally made some shit happen. And he's online people. He's got all kinds of online people. And some of the weird shit happening, the cyber stuff, and then stuff that was happening with you. I don't know if we're both too close to it at the moment. While it's still like, I just don't know. I just don't want to put you in more danger because like you got a little more upfront danger zone than even I'm getting. I'm getting a little more poking from the outside because I don't think they can find me. But you had like do we want to talk about the pizza or no?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean they had pizza sent to my house. But I feel like they noticed. I think that they were trying to smother me with that island distraction.
Yes, you noticed. Okay. Yes.
So that I wouldn't, because I was about to go back and like be like, okay, let me try to like check out this David stuff.
Yes.
And so like then I'm getting all this stuff and I'm like, okay, I'm offline completely. That's what they want. So like it's confusing, right? Like I'm like, it's confusing.
That's kind of what I was feeling too, and I kind of was like, I didn't want to, like, I'm not trying to freak you out, and I know like it's hard. I know how hard it is going through this weird shit, and like I've had weird shit happening before, and being doxxed, being cyber attacks, and all kinds of weird shit, off and on the whole time. But sometimes it's like a fever pitch, and like that for me is like too close to like it's dangerous. That's like a eyes wide shut warning. To me, that's what I'm thinking. I don't want to read about you in the paper or some shit. You know what I mean?
Well, and remember they took down the video I made about Celeste. That must have hit too close to home when I didn't even get into the salacious. Remember, because I was like, what y'all keep saying he did it. You say that he has all of this evidence, all of this stuff. If it is so tight, whatever, open and shut for you guys, why hasn't he been arrested?
Right.
Now look at that.
Right.
Look at who's getting their tracks covered so they can put it only on this guy. I'm trying to tell you, there's no way that it is just on him. So if y'all just want to put it all on him, then hey, wipe your hands of it. Throw away the key. But that will not keep anybody else safer. It will not make more Celeste of the world safer. Young kids, and people in those situations. And so when I shared about how I almost became a Celeste, right? Like where you're like a young kid and you are being neglected, you've already been abused, like how these kids get groomed into these situations, or when kids leave certain dangerous situations, right? I was one of the people, I'm like, now people, I guess it's okay to talk about how, what if Celeste's parents were preyed upon specifically because people knew they wouldn't go to the police, right? Whether or not they were bribed, this, that, and the other. A lot of people are starting to ask those questions, but I'm like, think about the climate. There are so many aspects to where Celeste could have been isolated and people were ready to just like lay down the gavel on everyone. And I'm like, you're missing all of these people that are right in front of us now. But it tripped me out that it was the video I made about young girls like Celeste, right? And I like really was just like, y'all don't actually care if this is how you're gonna handle the case, right? And that video was taken down. They tried to get the video where I was just basically like, so I know David's manager and hold on tight, y'all. Okay, hold on tight. It's bigger, it's deeper than rap. And so I've just been waiting, right? Because I'm just like, I don't like, it reminds me of the Diddy of it all. It's like, all right, railroad this one person. Let's not figure out who helped this person. Let's not figure out who made this actually happen.
Well, that's how I see it. Like, Diddy's the fall guy right now because they're not looking at the customers. Yeah. Who was he serving? Where was it going? Who was the media for, right? Like, yeah, exactly. Nobody's ever looking there because they've got their fall guy and then they just pick up and move on to the next thing, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, sorry, continue. You're so right. You're nailing it.
I'm just saying it's like, that's where I get dejected, right? I get disheartened. That's why I wasn't talking about it as much, right? Like I made those videos, people were yelling at me, acting like I don't care about kids. You know what I mean? I don't care about stuff because I'm over here saying, why aren't y'all, like, stop saying open and shut case, he did it, all of that.
There's
Be very specific, but also try to figure out why it's taken so long.
There's
the fact
more
that
to
people
it.
Are saying, have you confirmed his father's a lawyer?
Yeah.
It's looking like, I'm like, there also could be, and you know me, I'm always seeing the Freemasons in the room.
Yeah.
I'm already seeing it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm like, nobody gets due process like a Freemason or the child of one.
Right.
Okay. So, you know, when things start smelling, like I can start smelling the stone in the room, like I did with John Bonet before I even really understood what those bricklayers are really about.
Yes.
So it's, you know.
That's why you freaked me out, because I was like, oh, you know some shit, and this is like, you're touching on some stuff here. You're in danger zone. But it's okay, because the zone is the zone, and we gotta be here.
We're not going too far into it, right?
No, right.
I'm just like, I was turning back to the David of it all, and then I saw all this stuff going, and I was like, oh, okay, y'all are teeing it up ready for us.
Well, I privated it. I think I was talking about it. I privated my live, because when I seen shit go down with you and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to poke this bear right now, because I just don't, like, if it's going to put you in, like, physical danger, like, if your physical proximity is known, like, that's not okay with me.
Well, okay,
it's not the point of this, you know, we're not trying to make...
Yeah, it's never the point of this,
but I do think we do, like, because he's a factor in this, and because, like, how much material, did you see that update of how much material they found on his devices and stuff?
40,
and all of the stuff.
40 terabytes?
Well, that's all in all of the evidence, so it's not necessarily that much of that, but definitely a shitload of material. And he had admitted...
We're saying material because we know that it's, like, in
most
context.
Of it, yes, yeah, most of it of that a good portion of that is media they were finding on his devices that was harm media. But he had also openly said, and to a room full of kids, like on Discord, he's got all his little fans on Discord, he had said that he prefers gore over adult material, and in the context of gratification. So we're not just talking about, like, this is what people aren't getting, and I think this is where they're trying to really hush, and I think maybe they're trying to kind of silence me and you and whatever, like, certain people are talking about it a certain way, because we see it. We see what's going on here. We know what's actually going on. And the media wants to, like, trickle it out and sanitize it and dilute it in such a way so that it doesn't point back to...
Well, it's the satanic panic of it all.
Yeah, in a way, right? But it says a lot. It says a lot. And for his age and for the access he was having to the kids and how a lot of people don't know who he is, but he's, like, all these Fortnite kids know who he is. All these kids playing other games know who he is, but the parents don't because they're not paying enough attention of what's going on. They don't realize how much danger is on these kids' games. They don't realize that that's not just a kid game, you know? But go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm just saying it reminds me of you remember the Power Rangers movie where like the TV hypnotizes you? I think I referenced this last time.
Yeah.
But
well,
that's
Batman.
how his music is to me. Like that the whole concept of these Fortnite Interscope's connection to Fortnite, Interscope's connection to SoundCloud, and how they
actually?
get things.
Interscope is connected to fucking. Of course it is. That's disgusting. He's such a plant.
That's one of the videos.
Whoa.
Go back on my page later.
Shit.
Go back on my page. I connected. It was because my brother's connected to Fortnite. Like my brother was at Interscope, was in the Fortnite of it all.
Yeah.
Blueberry Fago was in Fortnite, but also Juice WRLD, who was untimely passing and has been more lucrative almost. They had monetized the hell out of him. Like,
yeah, same with Michael Jackson though, right?
Beyond the grave.
Yeah,
But you see all the figures where it's like, okay, Interscope gets these young boys, they're using Fortnite, they're making certain music that they know people are gonna stream to these games. So it's like gaming, rap music, and this like pipeline that turns into disposable avatars for this rap music, and they just interchange them. David is literally somebody that they plucked up that had certain ingredients. There were certain elements that they saw in him, certain things that they knew what he was looking up before they even scouted him, right? They knew what type of vices, type of desires that they could put in front of him, and how he would make that into art, how other people would consume that, and how they could send out this messaging, this hypnotic messaging.
Yes.
And then allow that to be what takes him down, and then it's sensationalized. So similar to Program to Kill, we're seeing how the government, entertainment, and all of that is selecting their lone serial killers and making it seem like it's a product organically from our society when it's an inception from a sick government. And that is what Dave talks about. Dave literally has a quote just like that, that the serial killer phenomenon is not a phenomenon that's come out of our of a sick society. It's a product of a sick government, a product of a sick institution that markets these entities in this way. And so it's very obvious that they're posturing him, David, in a Son of Sam type of way.
This is where they didn't want us to get. This is so
funny. Kind of way.
It's not funny at all, but this is where they didn't want us to connect. Because the other thing that was getting me problems is the version of Epstein with his little buddies that were making their money in gaming, the digital currency, and the video games, and bringing in the people, and using it to launder the all of that. All is the precursor. This is the precursor to what you're describing with the way that, that makes so much fucking sense. And I didn't know there was that connection with Fortnite. That makes it even worse. Like, it makes it so much more like, holy shit.
Very Black Mirror.
Oh my good Lord. Yeah.
Very, you know what I mean? But like, that's what I start seeing when I look at David, is I think of Program to Kill.
Yeah. Well, it is. Well, this is where you get to Bluebird. You're ready for Bluebird. You need to do the Bluebird, because it's basically, he explains, and with all the old documents, he's got copies of them, all the documents, the declassified documents he references and everything. It's all in the back of it, but he connects to how they were deliberately creating split people, splintered people, fragmented people to program them, and then how that was coming into the industry. And so this was like just before, like this would have been before, like I guess I'm a few years older, so this is why I hit on the Colin Ross, and you ended up with the Peter or the Dave McGowan, but they're the same. It's the same kind of material. It's the same kind of extension of, you know what I mean?
Research.
Like it's but it's like it's almost too obvious now that we can't, like, we should be able to talk about this more. Like, we should be able to start breaking this open at this point, because, like, where else do we go? And it is scary, and it is bringing shit to the doorstep. But, like, I don't think people realize, how controlled and how prefabricated and how how many people are in the same bed. Like, I think, was it Kanye that did that video where everyone's in the same bed? in the music video?
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to say with the
DT and Taylor and all of that, and they're like the wax figurines, and like, I'm like,
he's trying to
the
say
symbols are symbolizing.
Yeah. Where this is, like, you see it, I see it, a lot of people that are in this do see it, but this is where the freshly awakened people, this is the stuff that they don't want them to figure this out. This is the stuff they need to know versus what's being fed to them by the truthers that are also a fabrication. Do you know what I mean? So this is why you're important. It's why it's important to get you back in the zone. Because what you know,
well, I just
people like you know,
open my old files where I'm looking at it and I'm like, I have all my notes in front of me.
Yeah.
I will follow up for everybody in the chat. I think I'm going to just share my just general notes about Dave. I think that'll help. So look out for that. And then I have the satanic panic notes, and I'm like, okay, I feel like now I want to talk about this, and then maybe this will help warm me up to relate it to David. And then I know for Kat in the chat, Kat, if you hear me, I will be updating with the Taylor Swift industrial complex. I know you've been waiting, I mean, over a year now for me to get into that, but I feel like I can, I'm gonna tease and play with Tez and try to connect it to something that Tez will actually like grip onto. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna connect Taylor to some stuff.
Well, we can talk. Yeah, Taylor's a
we'll get Tez in it.
Very fabricated. Like, we could go Taylor, and like that's part of the map that I intend to go more in the direction too. I just I was so on my trail here. I had to get it all out of my brain first, right?
But I feel like I'm just letting the chat know, like, for the sake of me keeping my stamina, I will be putting out
I'm wondering if
assortment.
It's the same person that was asking me about the Harry Styles and Taylor Swift. There were some people asking about it, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna get there. It's probably Kat too. I think that's the same person.
Definitely the pop culture phenomenon in the chat.
So I was sort of to respond to. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Kat, they have such a wealth of knowledge, and a vast knowledge. So, but I know for sure with the Taylor of it all, that's kind of like a Genghis Khan for Kat. So I'm like, Kat, I will be putting that on YouTube. I feel like people, I feel like it all connects. So expect quite a bit for me, because whether it's history, pop culture, or, social science, humanities stuff, I can always connect it to the woo-woo of it all. This tinfoil hat stuff that's not even tinfoil hat. It's so funny. Nobody says that anymore. There's nothing like that. All the conspiracies are true, you guys. They're all critical theories. All right,
it's analysis. It's conspiracy. It's conspiracy analysis, not theory anymore. We're moving on, right? Finally. Fuck. All right, let me see if we got more questions. People are more just adding to the, people aren't really asking questions. They're just so with it. They're with it. They're just adding to the conversation for the most part, which is awesome to see. Yeah,
I love the engagement, the participation. That's always where I'm at, where I'm like, well, what do you guys want to talk about? Because I'm a jukebox in that way. But thank you so much for dropping the link to the YouTube, guys. Thank you.
It should be firing off. It should actually. Oh yeah, okay, it is. All right, I set it up to just. It wasn't working before. That was another thing. It's in and out sometimes, but I usually try to have it so it should be popping up every so often to remind them. The Aaron Carter, I don't know if you want to go there at some point, but that's one I went deep into for a while. I was in that hole, and I got some weird shit happening from that, but I know I was in the right track with it. But some people are asking that made me think of Aaron Carter, but we kind of touched on it a little bit already. But that's something maybe sometime we can kind of, I know it's a soft spot for you too, though. So I don't know if you want to do that one, but
definitely. But I think that there is a connection, and I'm pulling back the cobwebs in my, old library in my brain. But I'm pretty sure Nick Carter had connections to Bryan Singer. There was something there where I was like, there was an adjacency or a connection there that I was like, okay. Right? Because there's always something around Nick. And I feel like Nick is somebody that went through, it's so hard because it's so nuanced. But I'm like, I try not to totally get a hard heart to Nick. But I have one for Nick, and I don't have that for Aaron. I don't feel like Aaron ushered and groomed other people and set other people up to be abused. I just don't see it in the material.
Right.
But I feel like Nick did that. He served Aaron up and others knowing what they were going to go through.
Yep.
And I feel it's a little
Well,
complicated,
Luke
but I feel like
Pearlman.
Justin Timberlake did too.
Yes. Oh, you get it. You totally feel the same on that for sure, which is great.
And that's why he's unraveling now.
Yeah.
And I feel less empathetic with his like fall from greatness, because it's like you were willing to step over so many bodies to get there. Why would you ever think you would stay there?
I think there's so much more of that. Maybe we'll save it and we'll maybe mull it over before we do it on a live or whatever. But there was more to that got me and like brought some trouble to my doorstep too, because I was getting too close to a thing on that. But there's some more there like to do with why and what happened with Aaron that last year and what was going on with him and how much of a hand they were provoking it to try to get him on a conservatorship thing. Like there's more to that. But
his mom.
Not even his mom. No, no, it's well.
No, but I'm just saying, I'm remembering her like them like all the characters that were involved at the end that made it so chaotic.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I Nick was so underestimated in that equation.
Well, he
knows when to stay out the way.
He was getting cyber terrorized like in a big way, like in a very big different way, and. I'm gonna save it because got my shit. Yeah, I don't want to go into it totally right.
Yeah, you know where to put it.
Maybe I'll save it. I'm gonna put a pin in it, but there's more that you maybe aren't aware of yet that you're gonna find very interesting for what you know and how you feel about it. Like I agree with you, and I think yes, you're on it. But we'll talk about it because I discovered some stuff, and that's where I was first starting to get some weird shit happening with like I became a target by a cyber group of people and was experiencing stuff the first time. I literally had my modem remotely bricked. Like they rendered my modem useless from afar. So I had to like increase security and figure all that out. Like I figured it out in a big way, started figuring out like the different ways people will attack and try to silence you and try to shut you down or try to make shit happen to you, right? So like that's one of those ones that it's like I do want to circle back to it just as much as but then I'm staying away from it in the same way that I'm like maybe we touch on certain things here, but like for our own safety, for your safety, like obviously it's not about the content. Like I'm not here to just put it all out on the fucking table for everybody and make it like here's all the gory details, right? Like there's danger in telling real truth and doing real investigations versus just regurgitating the acceptable narrative. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I want to be mindful of that also in doing this because we're really putting it out on the line here,
No, 1,000%. I'm like, bring me in because how quick I'll get smacked down. I'll just be like, yeah, let me fly so close to the sun and then get surprised when I burn a little bit.
Yeah.
So you know what to push.
But you know about it though, like so you're on you're on a few rounds. It's not your first rodeo now, so you're building up a little bit more of a tolerance to it, I guess here. But it's still like even for me, I'm taking it. I just like that was a little too close for comfort. I feel like for them going that way about it. So we're pinning it, and I feel like we could almost do a segment that's kind of just in that sphere between and those two eras and how it evolved and the role that Diddy had played in that, and like we could hit some benchmarks there and lead one into the other almost, but without really fully going too close to either one. So then maybe we're safe. I don't know. Yeah. We'll figure out the boundary on that one, right? Because it's got to be talked about, and if they don't want us to, there's a reason we should. Obviously, also, right?
Yeah, but we gotta like test the tightrope for sure. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to, eat shit just yet.
No, and we're just warming you up. We get you warmed up, get you on your YouTube stuff, and get that going at least a bit for you, and so then you've got a little more security that way and a little more leeway because you're just trying to get on the map again here after the whole rigmarole last time, right? So
yeah.
Okay, all right. Do we got more questions here? Let's see. They're bringing up, okay, yeah, we could, that's kind of going back to it, like, which I do kind of want to finish off on the My Name is Steven, the Steven Stainer and the Harold Pruitt part, because it's like, that's something that he was going into, that Dave was going into, and it all goes into the same thing, but that was it becoming real. Like, they were making a movie about the case, about the kid, that it was so famous, everybody was into it, and then it was almost, I don't know, there's just been something standing out weird about that for me. So when I read about it in the program To Kill, Dave talks about it, I was like, okay, yeah, it's coming up again. Something I gotta talk about, but
yeah. I think for me, I feel like I just like the exercise that it took my brain of like seeing all the pieces and kind of being
Oh
like,
shit.
okay, when you have all these pieces,
Oh, I'm sorry.
what
Hold
is
on
it
one
next?
sec. I didn't mean to do that. I, I was trying to click on this comment and I just hid the. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, this person. I didn't mean to just delete their comments. I wasn't trying to. And it just deleted all their comments. I was trying to read it. I went to click it and it went hide from channel. I'm like, oh shit. That's okay though. But they were bringing up. I'm sorry. Just you continue. I wanted to apologize to
No,
them
no,
that I
I'm
wasn't
being
meaning to time
obedient.
them out. No, I didn't mean to do that. But they're talking about. I guess there was an attack. There was an attack at a Ariana Grande concert. They're asking about that. That there
Oh,
was something that happened. And do they? They're asking if you think that
oh,
Ariana was involved. I guess.
I think
Yeah.
Scooter Braun was.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he keeps turning up in certain places that don't make him look great.
I think Ariana figured it out later. I don't think Mac was in the loop. I think Mac figured it out later.
I think Mac figured it
And
out
I think that
first. I think he figured it out first, and he tried to save her, and they had to get him out of her sphere. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I don't think he liked
He wanted her to be
Scooter,
her,
of course.
and because they were trying to fabricate her, and he was encouraging her to be herself with her natural hair or whatever, because they were putting her through all kinds of shit, and like just little things like that. Like he was supporting her own work, the stuff they were shutting down in the studio and stuff, like her own art and whatever. Like he was very supportive of her, and I think they couldn't have that because they wanted to control her, right?
Yeah,
So
a
there's a
thousand
lot there.
percent.
There's definitely a lot there. I didn't know about that. The thing happening at her concert though. I never heard about that. Like there's certain
Yeah,
news that
it's
doesn't.
the Manchester.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah,
Okay.
Manchester.
Shit. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes how some stuff's filtered over to our side is a little different. You really got to go looking
Hmm.
for it. Okay. Yeah, everybody's supporting though. They're like, yeah, well, the ball's rolling, so whenever you're comfortable speaking about it, then it'll be fine. Like everybody's cool. Like they're all gonna be like, go at your own pace. They want you to be safe too. Like they want us both
Yeah.
to be mindful of our safety. They do see like a bunch of them are already noticing like that I was starting to get throttled there a few days ago, and they were like, something's happening. I noticed this, and like they start telling me in the comments about sketchy shit happening. I'm like, yeah, it's happening, guys. It's okay. We're all here for it, you know. And they were like, they noticed too when I was getting the DDoS attack the one time. They're like, it's happening. They're attacking your internet right now, aren't they? Like I can tap it's happening. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, they are. And then I would just wait. I'm like, okay, we'll just wait because it wasn't fully knocking me off. It was just like hitting it just enough to like send it out, but it wasn't disconnecting the stream. So I kind of just I would wait and it'd come back, and it was a ridiculous stream to be honest, but. They know what's going on. They see it now too more. So it's like we don't have to be isolated and be silent in our suffering of this kind of shit. The shit that happens in the background, you know. Like
Yeah.
they get it. Most of the people are starting to get it and realize the danger involved. So they're gonna respect and not be like, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, more questions. Let's see. What's the arrangement? E-Channel's TV series? I don't know what that is, AI Davis. I haven't heard of that. Have you heard of the arrangement, Desi?
No, let me look it
I
up.
don't know
Hold
either,
on.
yeah. I'm gonna bring it up too. Hold on. Just trying to read down here. Hold on. Oh, you know what else was good? The studio with Catherine O'Hara. And the Catherine O'Hara's death's a little bit weird. That's one I've kind of wanted to circle back to at one point. But I'm feeling like this is maybe sort of similar to that. Or maybe not. Yeah, kind of, a little bit. That's the darker side of the studio. This is darker side of the celebrity. Often darker, which explored in the drama series. Lands Cinderella-esque date with movie star Kyle West while auditioning for her dream role. The relationship progresses. She realizes it comes with a $10 million marriage contract and membership into Kyle's secretive self-help organization. So this is almost like Taylor and Travis. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling it's a contract, isn't it? And then they were saying they're going to get married, but
Yeah.
now they broke up. I think the contract's
Yeah.
over.
That's how I feel.
So we could talk about that. If you want to do the Taylor thing, like I could meet you on Taylor. I know enough of the stuff of the background, enough of her, you know, and that
Yeah.
this arrangement's interesting. But it says the Institute of the Higher Mind, which is a retreat-like campus in Malibu, credits the institute and its creator Terrence, a close confidant, with his success. This is interesting. I'm gonna put a pin in this. I'm gonna fucking write this down so I don't lose the tab. But there's a lot more like media coming out that it's like really just trying to say it like it is. It's like it's trying to be truthful without being truthful and losing their jobs, but they're getting away with saying some stuff in their in their media now. Like they're just coming out and saying it almost, because that's kind of reminded me of the Miley Cyrus with that mystery school. That's something I meant to circle back to, because there's a location nearby where I live. Like it's an hour or so I could get to it, and I wanted to check it out because Miley Cyrus had signed up for that mystery school, and it sounds kind of like this Institute of the Higher Mind. I don't know. Interesting suggestion.
I did hear that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put a pin in that. The arrangement. Thank you for that recommendation there. I don't know if it's AI Davis or Al. I think it's trying to be Al Davis. I don't know. Every time I see AI now, it's just AI, even if it's AL. So everything's AI. Okay, the arrangement. I'll write it down. All right. Next question. Let's see. All right. Jeanette McCurdy. Do you think Jeanette McCurdy? Yeah, I guess kind of. The Jeanette McCurdy was kind of hinting at her programming. Somebody was saying, not really as a question, but as a suggestion. But between her and the Ariana, I guess we kind of touched on that though.
Yeah, and like before. A Selena Gomez, I feel like we touched on that a little bit last time.
Yeah, on the last one. Yeah, the last stream we did. How do you say that? Magilla Gorilla. I like it. That's funny. Good one. Do you think? Do you think Ariana changes personalities? Yeah, but not like changes personality. Like she's fragmented. She's been fragmented for sure. Yeah, and she kind of told us when she was saying about the EDMR therapy and stuff, because that's like complex. Some severe trauma that you're dealing with, and generally it's like with the dissociates, like that, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else we got for some questions here? Everybody's just kind of joining with the conversation. They're not like they're not really asking too much here. I'm going down though. Anybody got questions? If I missed your question, scrolling through, because I'm gonna refresh it again. Because sometimes it'll toggle back to top chat, and then you're missing shit in the between us.
Oh, I know somebody asked at one point, and I mean, this might be in the no zone, but Reiner, right?
Well, that's tomorrow. So yeah, do we want to talk about that a bit? Because that's tomorrow,
and
I am still on that, because I don't think it's as much the Reiner as it was the Epstein connections I was making with that was giving me some issues, and then I think it's more that recent thing I was having a bit of issues. But Reiner, I think, still safe, and I do have to circle back to finish. Because I kind of started a series on that, and I'm going into that pretty hard, but then it took me in down the whole rabbit hole around with who he's connected to. Because he's not even as big as people think he is. Like, he's a big deal, but he's still kind of a tool in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the greater scheme of it. But yeah, I think Nick's a very good example of like how we were kind of talking about with Charles Manson and that how the situation of opportunity and kind of what you're saying just now too, just like with being within it, being programmed within it. So I don't know. Did you want to, like, what are you thinking about it? Like, have you been keeping up on that, or where do you?
No, not at all. That was one that I was like, really just like following your content with.
Okay. So well, I guess there's not really anything new about it per se, because we're just waiting for the next trial. Tomorrow? But it's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the trial. I think it's the prelim or something. They'd pushed it. They pushed it back or something because they're trying to subpoena somebody. But I'm wondering if that Catherine Short that had just died, Martin Short, his Rob's good friend Martin Short, his daughter just took her own life as well, like very not long ago, like the same day I think that one of the trials was happening, which was really weird. But they decided they weren't going to subpoena someone, so I'm wondering if she was supposed to be part of it, and like that they're just not going to be able to reach her now, obviously. But between that and then Tommy Lee Jones is pretty tightly connected in this sphere, and his daughter had accidentally, Catherine Short was on purpose, allegedly, reportedly. Victoria Jones accidentally, apparently, reportedly, at this hotel, and they were all pretty close with Nick Reiner in childhood. Like they'd either, with Victoria Jones, there was like very much at least an acquaintance, because they were going to the same kind of galas, dinners, they were doing the same political stuff, Rob Reiner and Tommy Lee Jones. So they at least were acquaintances. But Kathy Short, they were for sure good friends. Their families did like dinners and birthdays and all this stuff together. So the fact that he's got people close in his sphere that ahead of all of this started dropping dead, and then like with Catherine O'Hara even, it's a little weird because she was pretty close with Martin Short and in that comedy troupe. So there's a lot going on there that it's like I'm almost even not even as afraid of that now as I am about some of the other things going on for how it's hitting close to certain things, you know. So this I'm not I don't know, but it's a kind of freaky one too because it's revealing some stuff, and they know Nick is going to say something because he's apparently supposedly writing a tell-all book or whatever. But there's a back and forth on that because apparently he can't make money on it, and whatever. But for him, I don't think it's about the money. Like he wants to tell the dirty details of what's going on behind the scenes because there was the fight the night before at Conan O'Brien's house. There was the party at his house, and there was a very open argument. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know about this stuff, right? Yeah. You know enough, I think. Like, you're caught up enough. But
yeah, I saw that. Like, I have, like, some peripheral kind of reference for it, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, you've been doing your island thing and your other stuff, too. So it's totally cool. It's fine. But, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on just around coming up to the case. And with, I don't know if you saw about the Timothy Busfield stuff. But he was finally arrested for potentially allegedly trespassing against these kids on this show he was directing.
Yeah, isn't his wife standing by him? Is that the one?
The little house on the prairie. Yeah, Melissa Gilbert. Yes. So he's very interconnected between the iceberg and the Reiner situation. Yes. And there are other victims previously, but he kept getting work, and he had his own little theater, which gave him access to all kinds of kids, a children's theater thing. Like, there's so much going on there. Like, this might be one we'd have to have, like, I don't know if you're available, but if you wanted to join for a Nick Ryder stream tomorrow when we're doing the court thing, I don't know, because I'm going to be on for that. Or just another time when we're on our next stream or whatever, because it's a pretty fully loaded situation, and it's going to start picking up. Like, I feel like that's going to be, like, trial of the century kind of thing, because Rob Reiner is, he's a wonderful Wizard of Oz for a lot of people. A lot of people are not willing to even listen to his own words. He literally himself said everyone in jail for a violent crime had a nightmare childhood. He said it himself in 1998. His kids would have been like 6 and 7 or whatever at the time. Okay, so how do we interpret that in this context there, Rob? If every kid in jail for violent crime had a nightmare childhood, what kind of childhood do you need to have to allegedly be the prime suspect of killing both your parents? Why do you go into Mendez your parents unless, you know, something's not right? Like, he knows. He sees the red brick road, probably. He was calling people out at the party, I guess. There was a big argument, and then that night there was a thing went down, and apparently the next day they were supposed to meet with different political people. I don't know how much we're even allowed to say anymore. I'm just saying shit. But yeah, so that's a fully loaded one because of how much it binds a lot of this together. Like, between the Stephen King and the iceberg and the Tom Hanks, he's like, as if this was a Venn diagram, he's in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess, I don't know.
I feel like once you get one of these guys on the board, it just starts, like, the layers peel back.
Yeah, like, well, that's how a lot of this is where it turned into a bigger thing. Because I was kind of working on a little map for the Brittany Murphy, which I'm going to have to start that fresh because I didn't know about the clean lines and the way that this one looks versus the other one. But I'd started there, but then this all went down because I was just finishing off I was going to be finishing the final episode of Brittany back in December. And then this happened, so then I just jumped right onto the Reiner and started putting that map together and then connecting all the things together. And the next thing I knew, that I'm like, got everything going. Because this theory too, okay, so this was the real kicker. This TW theory, which I've kind of talked to you about it, like, our discussions are part of what kind of was developing the theory, so you already kind of get where it's going. I've just given it a name and explained it to people. But the TW theory is basically these movies the scenes in the movies that are the signaling, the scenes that end up being an exploitation and a harm in and of itself just by the kids being in the movie. And yeah, they're supposed to be playing pretend and it's just a movie, but depending on some of the scenes of distress and trauma and semi-nudity they're putting these kids in, that alone is a trauma. And then some of the people surrounding those movies and the harms that are happening off the set and stuff, it all comes together to this TW theory thing. Now, the thing with the TW theory was that Rob Reiner's Stand By Me was one of the worst, like, the most disturbing examples of it, and then in reference with River Phoenix. Okay, so I did that. I released that. I first published it early November of 2025. So then when the Reiner thing happened, things just fucking popped off because I apparently was, like, ahead of it. I had the shine for a minute, and it was the time to release it. Like 3 weeks ahead of when Nick pops off and just kind of confirms the theory in a very big way, and adds to the theory, you know. So that's sort of where the map's beginning and ending, I guess, between the River Phoenix and the Rob Reiner, because that's where a lot of my early Dark Hollywood videos were about, was everything surrounding the River Phoenix. It was my backwards way of, let's talk about this MK Ultra kid and what happened to him, but from the outside going in, you know? So this is just a weird thing, the way that everything's circled back, like... so I don't know where to even catch you up on the Rider, but it's everything at once. It's everything anyways. Like, you already know, because it's all of it anyways at once anyways, right?
Well, I immediately, like, you know me, like, even if I'm not familiar, when somebody that's that central in Hollywood, right? When when their child does something like that, I'm like, stop the press. And then all the things that we know about, you know, ritual child abuse, different ways to enact mind control, and how they start young. It's like, to me, I'm like, okay, so where are the signs? Where are the ingredients? What, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just am programmed to look at it that way. And that's exactly what I saw. I'm like, okay, so a young boy that's grown into a man in this environment, and the way that we know they serve up their young. Mm-hmm. I'm like, there's no way you can't convince me that he didn't go through something. People don't just do that. And that's like this, it's the same thing I felt when it came to Burke, right? Where I'm just like, okay, why are y'all so satisfied with saying Burke did it? If Burke did it, that means something terrible was going on in that home.
Yeah. Yeah, like, even if that is the case, you know, it highlights the main issue of, okay, well, what the frick was going on for both these little kids to be going through it, to the point of...
And showing the symptoms and signs that we know
the triad,
that they were showing.
The McDonald triad even, which was almost dangerous, like, in a different way. But it all kind of goes hand in hand, man. Like, it's like, however it's going to manifest when you're going through such complex and prolonged trauma, like... It's almost, there's only one or two ways of, it's either you go to the extreme evil that trespasses against you, or you go to the extreme good of empathy and wanting to, you know, eliminate the evil, the good and evil, right? To protect the kids, and you get passionate about it, right? And I think, I don't know, like, I think Nick was, like, the scapegoat in the situation, and I think there was so much, like, openly covert, emotional... interfamiliar stuff going on that was not appropriate. Like, Carl and Rob, the dad and the grandpa, would kiss each other in the mouth, and not just like kissing like European style, like holding each other's heads like they're about to make out, kissing openly, like thousands of pictures. You could go search it, there's like 100 pictures. But he would do that to Nick also, like, and when they did the movie together, The Being Charlie, that was supposed to be Nick's redemption arc or whatever, and Rob was just circle jerking himself. They would argue all the time, and they would make up, and then they would kiss each other on the mouth like that, the same way. And all these people on the set and everybody were really uncomfortable about it. But so imagine for Nick, though, like, even for before, it was weird with Rob and Carl, but then you're thinking in this day and age, and for him being like a 30-year-old man, trying to work through his trauma with his dad fucking taking control of it and trying to make himself look like a fuzzy peach, and then putting his mouth on his kid like that, like, that's on its own is like... Maybe that's not a reason to kill your parents, and not that ever that there's violence is the answer, never ever. But
smoke.
But yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, that's a pseudo incestuous a little bit. Like, there's something weird going on there. You know, so you start peel the layers, right?
I'm so curious. I know earlier when we started the chat, a lot of people were talking about Brian Kohlberger. Do you have any thoughts on him?
What's the deal with that? I keep seeing something about that. I haven't had a chance. Who is he again? Can you just refresh me? I'm going to look it up quick.
He is the, I think he like did like forensic psychology, even criminology, forensic criminology. But I don't know. He basically thought he was Mindhunter while you know, he's going to school. He was going to WSU, which is my alma mater. He was going to my school, but went to the neighboring school, which is literally like Moscow, Idaho
this is
is right next to
the Idaho 4 thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm like, it's ringing a bell, but I couldn't put it together. Okay, I'm just looking it up here.
But his family is so obscure, you can't really like get into his family lore as much. I'm like, what happened? But I guess like his mom standing beside him but it's his sister that's like, I don't want anything to do with him. So the family is a little bit divided on how they're dealing with Brian.
Yeah. Well, it's saying that he thinks that the Koberger defense expert says police mishandled key evidence in Idaho murder case. So, yeah, I haven't read into that as much, but obviously that was a whole thing.
A lot of people think that some people think that he couldn't have acted alone, didn't act alone, didn't even do it. It's one, but he has the look of a lot of guys I've seen in the past, right? That look in his eyes. I'm like, what is going on there? So that's when
I'm looking at him right now. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he totally
does.
That
familiar look.
But the dark of the trauma, where there's trauma, like a forlorn sadness, like you can see the inner child sadness under the eyes, like with the way Nick's are. This guy's dead inside. This Cobra guy's dead inside. Like David, like the D4V David.
Just blank slate.
The blank dead in the eyes. Like, so this is where it's like, yeah, this is where this is what I guess this is where you almost have to try to figure out is how do they not snap? Like, what's the human conditioning that creates one or the other? Is like, what does it come down to? Because, like, for myself, even personally, I've had a tremendous trauma in childhood, and I'm empathetic, and I want to save the kids. You know what I mean? Like, I know people that have less shit happen in their childhood that are absolute pieces of shit. So where do you draw the line? You know, and say for you had some horrifying shit happen, went through some shit, you seen some shit, you know some shit. What passionate and overzealous for the let's save the fuck kids, right? So what's the difference? You know, I guess is where I still try to, like, I've read so much over the years of, like, some of these serial killers and stuff of what's the difference, because I could relate to some of their childhoods, and I'm like, but I would never do that. Like, I could never even put my hand on a kid to hurt them, like, smack them in the mouth or something, like, you know what I mean? Some people punish their kids or whatever, like, I could never even do that, let alone the degrees of some of these people go to. But so what's the difference? Like, where do they push, how do they push them that extra, like, that's the formula they've figured out that they don't want us to know. Because if we're starting to figure out DID, we're starting to figure out this stuff, like, where's that final ingredient that pushes it over the line? You know, like, was it spared, or is it just a different system that allows you to, I don't know, like, what, this is where I'm at, you know, that's where I'm stuck with it. Because, like, if this guy,
I don't know, and I think that is definitely a place that I reside, right? And I go back and forth, and it depends, like, when I do these, like, deep excursions into the work, and then I get kind of, like, disturbed, right? Like, you stare into the abyss, and the abyss stares back, and then I have to, like, stand back and, like, try to, like, regain a reference point, because it is so backwards for me.
Yeah.
Like thinking of perpetuating the trauma in that way, to me, I would be more likely to, like, become a hermit. I would just go off grid before anything else. So yeah, that I think is the mystery that makes these stories so interesting, in the various iterations, right? Like, that's why people were so disturbed by me being like, but nobody cares that Diddy was an altar boy. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that, you know, it's very obvious he was a brothel baby. Nobody wants to talk about, you know what I mean, his connections and his family's connections to Frank Lucas, how he was born in the underworld. Like, does that not add to the equation we're seeing? Of how these children are selected and placed in their positions before us.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, like, one thing I'm coming to terms with, too, is just how much of the selection and intention pre-birth, you know what I mean, in some cases.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody watches Dune, but yeah, I'm like, who's the Bene Gesserit? We're, like, searching for the Bene Gesserit right now.
There you go, yeah. Oh, man, yeah, it's just weird. It's crazy because it's like, it's same for you, I guess, too, but, like, as I'm going along, I'm unpacking more of my own childhood shit, learning more about what was going wrong with the people in my family and why did A plus B equal C. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a self-venture as much as it's been an outward societal, you know, industrial thing, right? So it definitely comes and goes in waves as far as the being impacted, too. Because sometimes you don't realize how much it's close to home till you get there. Like, you're going down a rabbit hole, it has nothing to do with you, but then you get to a point, you're like, oh, shit, like, this is, like, I know about this, you know, or whatever, right? Yeah, it's wild. It's kind of wild. All right, we got any more questions here, guys? But they're awesome. You guys are awesome. Like just with the contributing to the
Yes,
chat and
thank you
having their
guys for having
discussion.
me,
Like it's
chat.
awesome. Oh, they're asking about the river bottom to river phoenix rising. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, like I was reminded of the. Okay, we'll go here because it's the Phoenix program, right? That's what we're talking about with the PTK. Order of the
Yeah.
Phoenix. All right, Order of the Phoenix. It's Dave's army, though, not Dumbledore's army. It's Dave's army. That's what's
Yeah.
happening. We're all coming together to see and figure out this dark magic, this dark arts. Dave's gone. We gotta fucking save the
Yeah.
castle, save the kids. But so the River Phoenix thing that sort of goes into the Manson stuff though, like the cult that he came out of that was very hands on with the children on purpose. That was part of their undertaking or whatever. So I guess we kind of touched on that on the last one too. I guess though, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that one. Okay, let me catch up here. Stand By Me actors on tour now. Oh, yeah, okay. I got to do a Corey Feldman. I got to touch on that at some point because we had positive interactions at one point on Twitter, and he admitted that he believed it was on the verge of homoerotic and catering to old pervs, that Stand By Me thing. And he was about it, but then he gets invited on the tour to do the 40th anniversary, and then I get blocked, and he's like singing a different tune. So I'm like, I feel differently about this guy. It's not about the kids.
Right.
So he gets his career handed back. He don't give a shit. So then he Barbara Streisanded himself because I went back and watched all the two Corys and all the other shit, and I have notes on notes of how much of a shit friend he was to Corey Haim. And he wasn't just trying. He's using it. He's leveraging it to get famous. He's a
Nick,
fucking shit.
He's the Justin Timberlake. He's the Nick Carter. He's that one.
Yeah. But they were just asking, they're like, it's the Stand By Me actors on the tour now who have been vocal about being victims all say good things about Rob, though. Thoughts? So yeah, my thoughts are because it's an opportunity. They don't want to shit in the hand that feeds them. Right? I guess that's, I don't know. What do you think, I guess, about just that situation?
Well, yeah.
He was like admitting it 2 weeks before.
I think it's the time.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
It's the time that we live in. It's the economy. It's the change in the industry. It's the vulnerability of age, right? Even though, like, over time victims can be more empowered, it's like to point the finger at somebody that nobody has looked at, right? And all of these years in this way, that is much more of a risk than the people that had said for years and years that Harvey Weinstein was a monster, right? Like, I just think for them to denounce Stand By Me for something that like impacted so many, like there's so much nostalgia like associated with that, like with Reiner's legacy, that I think especially the Gen X generation, they don't seem to want to really get into it. I think that they can really revert back to a dissociated place much easier.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's like that's a click moment. Like it's a
They're like the
pre-programmed
most hypnotized and the most abused, I feel like, between boomers and millennials, right? Like they will go back, they will like reset back into that programming much easier than I feel like millennials.
Like the base program, I think they were probably the first that the Matrix base program was like fully enforced. And then now we're sort of breaking out of it, but they are like, they're locked in. They're locked in.
Yeah, and I think that their sense of security comes at a higher a higher threshold for suffering, I think, than the millennial. I don't know how to explain that, but like I'm just like, some of them believe that you have to put up and shut up to get along. And so if they have said certain things and nothing necessarily materialized, they might just be like, well, I'm just going to go along, right? Like nobody even is looking for me to be the hero here, right? Like if anything, they're rejecting and they're looking to shoot the messenger. So it is hard.
That is true. It's I don't know. They're like, that's one to unpack though for sure. Because when you think about how they became the hands of some of it without even knowing, I feel like it's like it was so pre-programmed to program the next generation down in a way, or to like it's not even intentional. They didn't even have to read the playbook. You know what I mean? Like the corporal punishment stuff, like the torture of punishment, the torturous type, like to an extreme of what some kids were going through. And then you got the latchkey kids, and then you got the Like there's some layers
Like
there.
they just expel abuse through neglect, right?
Yeah.
Whether it was like overt abuse and then severe neglect is what a lot of them experienced, even when they had their needs technically met.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier for them to revert to old programming.
Yeah. No,
especially when they don't feel safe. And I think it's more complex because of the crime, right? So now it's like you're almost like if you point out or speak your truth about Rob, then you're almost condoning what Nick did without the information, right? To really understand. And we know what happened to the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
They were never given the room to even share what actually happened to them. That would make what they did make more sense. Nobody wanted to understand it. They just wanted to hide them away. And so I don't know. I can appreciate when some people don't think they have it to be a martyr, because that's what the system wants in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like they would prefer if Brittany had exited in the 27 club, and they would have romanticized that over allowing Brittany to survive in whatever form she can survive in.
Yeah.
No,
for sure. Amanda Bynes too. Like I feel like they weren't supposed to make it, and the fact that they're still out floating around, like this is a liability, and that's why they've got whatever's going on right now too. With the like, I know we kind of talked about it already on the last one, but now the son's moved into her mansion and have her in the rehab and stuff right now. Like I'm worried for her. I'm worried about like I feel like I'm less worried about Amanda now as I am about Brittany, where it's like they switched, because for a while it was like, okay, yeah, we free Brittany, now we're worried about Amanda, free Amanda, and now it's kind of flipped back again, you know? So it's like, because Amanda seems to be doing all right, but it's just, yeah. And how you were saying too of like the worth, how much more worth they are in death, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I
mean, I bet they can't wait for a lot of these people just sit back and say, "Oh my gosh, we can release this in theaters. We can do this in theaters. We can do this if only they pass away." Like that, there are suits that sit around and can't wait for certain celebrities so they can reheat. Like think about Amanda's legacy, and they can't do anything with it now, but there are people that cannot wait to run back her greatest hits.
Yeah, it's like a purgatory, but in this plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they know she's not going to perform. She's not going to dress up. She's not going to do the thing for them to even run back her old hits, right?
Yeah.
At least with Justin, they got Justin to a certain point where they're like, okay, we can monetize you, but you are doing it in your way, right?
Oh,
they're rolling Justin out, but like Justin has more control and agency. So they're going to work with him, right? Like he's basically bargaining for his own survival too, right? Of like, okay, I'm still worth money alive, okay?
Yeah, I'll still do the dance. I'll come do the dance, monkey. Here, look at me dance. Ha.
But somebody like Amanda, it's like they know they can't really get her to do a Lindsay Lohan resurrection. So now I feel like they just are vultures for these types of people.
Yeah.
That have like almost $1 billion legacies behind them.
Yeah.
The best thing that ever happened was Mary-Kate and Ashley going and doing the row. They're still making people money, right? They're still a commodity, still a product, but they get to be removed from it.
That's a whole...
But imagine if they weren't willing to still somewhat work, and then they didn't have their sister in people's faces.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. But that's a whole situation on its own. The Olsen twins, that's a Genghis Khan fucking magnum opus type situation, too. And the whole Bob Saget situation, like... That's a lot to unpack, because that connects back to Heath Ledger.
But they're like never done with them. That's like,
those poor girls, man. No, they're
never
awful.
done with them.
No, yeah, and they're like health wise, like I don't know who's taking care of them or whatever, but they're kind of on that track of where some of the young women right now that are going through like. It's just not healthy. It's not a healthy body.
Yeah, well, and they've been like that for years, right? Yeah. And we know how they got there. So it's like, to me, I'm just glad that, like, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to stomach it. I'm glad that when they do get their pictures, but you can just tell the way that they dress, the way that they go out, like everything about them is to is a response to what they experienced. And it's like, I'm glad that a lot of people have evolved to be able to talk about Justin in a way of like, look at what the patriarchy did to Justin. Okay, we talk about female victims, all of this. No, look at what they do to men, and then look at how you guys are treating him for showing that he isn't like that. He's a victim. Men aren't allowed to be victims,
right?
And the fact that everybody knows that Justin's a victim, and he's still performing in this certain way, and like how that makes people uncomfortable, and how Brittany makes people uncomfortable, Amanda makes people uncomfortable, and to me, it's like they want these people to be Amy, right? They want them to be Amy Winehouse, and they don't
Kurt
want
Cobain.
to see them struggle.
Yeah, well, and that's, you made a perfect point, and this is, I guess, why I was going this way and with the NAMBLA and everything on this side, because most of these red dots are young men, because they couldn't speak up. They didn't have the support. They didn't have... Like, nobody wanted to acknowledge. Brandis got him laughing. He talks about how he's got Rodney Dangerfield dick in his face every time he's going to run lines with him. And he's saying, like, it was a trauma. He's like, I was traumatized. And everyone's laughing at him on this talk show. Like, ha, ha, ha. That's so funny. What a funny time. Oh, Rodney Dangerfield. What a guy. Like, no. Dude should have been arrested for indecent exposure. He was a kid. You got your shit hanging out of your robe, like, when you're supposed to just be running lines. It's not like you're in the locker room or something. Like, what the hell is going on there? Just those little things of normalizing and showing the acceptance by just being complicit and laughing along with it. Like, that alone is like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, like, it's just a messy, like, and you look when you pan out, I just zooming out, like, most of these red dots, like, probably like 95% of the red dots are young guys that just didn't make it. Like, most of them not even to 30, some of them not to 40, but most of them not even to 30, and that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. That's what this really highlights the most of the predator, prey, and then the decay, the trauma decay. Like, it's, yeah. Like,
and it's so cyclical.
Yeah. Well, shit, that's almost like we're just over 2 hours now, so I think that's probably a good little, I feel like it's wrapping up just naturally anyway. I think that was a good, like...
We ran the gambit.
Yeah.
Definitely, I will pop in, especially, like, I mean, for the chat, I might, I'll ring you if it works out that way, but, like, I'm gonna have to, like, now I'm, like, my brain is spinning for this Reiner update, because I'm like, wow, okay.
There's a
like,
lot,
even from outside, I was seeing it, so I'm glad just like to get that update from you. I'm like, okay. And then I feel like, I'm excited to see what's gonna come. Maybe next Tuesday we can definitely do another mind map, but I want to hear more about the David case, right? Like touch and go. So we have some things, I think, some buns in the oven.
Well, and that's supposed to... I think there is another thing happening tomorrow with the David case, because they're at the same jail, and it's the same courthouse. It's like a fucking double feature right now in Hollywood. It's craziness. So, I don't know.
Crossover.
Yeah, it's weird. It's supposed to be the afternoon, I think. There's supposed to be something. Or they might have pushed it to the first. I don't know. I'm going to have to double check. But they've been running kind of tandem. It's a little bit weird. But, like, we'll catch up, and, like, we'll figure out what we're doing for the next one. And then, I don't know if did you want to hang back a few minutes after this and chat some YouTube stuff, or do you want to follow up, whatever? I don't know what you want to do, but if you want to, you can just
I'm just gonna take the pups out real quick, but then I can I'll shoot you a message in Discord too.
And then circle back. Yeah. Right on. Well, thank you, Desi, for joining us. That was so awesome.
Thank you always, you guys. I'm getting used to it. I won't.
Oh, they're asking, are you gonna post more? They've been waiting for you to post on YouTube. We're gonna get her. We're gonna get her going. We're gonna get the lowdown.
Yes, I will. I promise you guys, but Tez is that's what we need to circle back for, is I have a lot of media that I could just post or just go flying, but I need a little bit of a tutorial. So Tez doesn't have me, working counterproductively, right? Because I have a lot of material that I could just be throwing things out, but I don't want the algorithm not to necessarily vibe with me, or to just be doing things that I'll have to fix later. So I am meeting up with Tez soon. So it'll be drowning in content once I kind of know the do's and don'ts a little bit.
Hell yeah. So, well, here's what I'll do. Like, if you're going to go take the dogs out, no worries. I'm going to show them then, if you're cool with it, I'm going to show them just like the first minute, like the little intro of your, the down the demi mode here that you got, because you do have some stuff over there. So I'll just show them like the first 2 minutes, give them a little taste,
if you think
send them your way.
Showing, I'm like,
I love it. Like the intro. the intro is a good pull. You did really good on the intro. The whole thing's really good. You did a great job on the whole thing. But, like, you know what you're doing. And the intro's going to pull them in. I already know. So I think to just show them a little bit. And, like, this is just your beginning. Like, if you're just starting here, do you know where you're going to be in a year? Like, this is good. Yeah. It's impressive for where you've come from. And just starting and then just getting back on the computer.
When you first met me and I didn't have a laptop. Yeah. Like, all right, I'll get a laptop. So
oh, it's fucking impressive.
I've come a long way, guys.
You're like, you're so hard. Like, stop being hard on yourself. Like, I know you have such high expectations for yourself and you have high standards. Like, you really put a lot of quality and effort and pride.
I released myself from that, you guys. I promise.
We're gonna get you there because you're great. It's great. Like, if this is where you're starting, like, you're already there. You're good. You're good to go. You're already a cut above people been doing it for years. So fucking don't worry about it.
Okay, well, I will resist the urge to blush and watch it with you guys. I'll let you guys do that. All right?
There you go. Yeah, you go ahead.
I'll talk to you guys soon. Check for me later. Love you guys. Thank you.
All right, take care. Thanks again. Bye for now. All right, guys. So if you want to hang tight a sec, I'm gonna bring her thing into there, cause she did this video a while back too, and it's a really good video. And it just sucks, cause it's just trying to launch a big long form video right away when you like just started out. One sec. It can be hard for the algorithm to grab it the right way and to get the right. Here, hold on. Let me shut this down. One sec. For the algorithm to grab it and to get it to where it needs to go. So we're gonna help her out and get a good boost and get her going before she's going right down deep into this kind of stuff here. But this is like, it's already so good. So once we get her foot in the door and get her, get the watch hours, get her monetized, all that stuff, she's gonna be pumping out some awesome shit. So I'm just gonna share the first couple minutes here. And actually, hold on, I'm gonna have to rejigger this a little bit. 1 second, guys. But this is basically, she did a deep dive, basically how the patriarchy has been able to make women subservient over the years and maintain control, and through different, like, historically, how do I explain it, like ancient history stuff, going through the times, and the way that it showed up in different forms and how they were able to maintain that, I guess, is the best way to describe it. Like, she I don't want to give too much away either. She says it better in the video. She could describe it better than I can. It's her video, obviously, but let me, hold on. Oh, shoot. I just lost it. There we go. Just trying to get it right in the line here. But it's great for editing, for everything, for not having done any of this stuff really before, and just kind of starting off on the TikTok, and then getting over onto the YouTube stuff, the YouTube style videos. It's worth a couple minutes watch. I'm not gonna put too much on it because I want you guys to go over there and check it out. Why is this not just linking? Click into the thing. Click to the thing. There you go. Good enough. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a couple minutes of this quick, just as a little taste test, and then head over to her channel. It's been popping up in the chat there, but if you haven't seen it, it's also in the description. But so here we go. This is Down the Demi-Monde, episode 1: Wives, Courtesans, and Concubines Across Ancient Empires.
I'm lonesome and blue, but when I look at you, there's one thing I know is true. I wouldn't be lonesome, I wouldn't be blue, if I had a girl like you.
A dazzling whirl of elegance, of exotic, extravagant beauties. An adventurous journey into the devastating allure of the most sophisticated women and their intimate secrets.
Welcome to a No Idols, No Masters podcast exclusive just for YouTube, Down the Demi-Monde. I'm Desi, your loyal liaison through the lore, lace, and long shadow of womanhood in a world that's always tried to dress us up, write us off, and write us out.
All right. We're just gonna leave it at that because it's all right. Let's get the little intro in, just a minute or so in. But I want you to go give her some views, check her out, make sure you like, send her some love. She is gonna be starting to post more over there, get her stuff going. But for sure, like obviously you can see for not having that much experience with editing and on the computer and stuff, she's putting a lot of effort. She knows what she's doing. She's got all the right stuff. It's just getting her on the go now. So if you guys want to go over there, check it out. I dropped a link in the description. So go send her some love. And yeah, I guess next Tuesday she'll be back on with us. And then I don't know when I'll be on next on a separate thing. I don't even know. And I don't know what's coming next because I've been trying to just pivot to stay out of the hot water over here too. There's just so much going on, and it's getting a little crazy. But yeah, tomorrow morning is the Nick Reiner thing, so I'm gonna be on for that. And what else? I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to mention before I got off here today. I think that was pretty much everything. But yeah, guys, so you enjoy the rest of your night. Hesky, you could try. She doesn't really use the DMs on that on Twitter just yet. She's still just kind of getting the hang of Twitter. But I don't know if she's doing TikTok anymore. You could probably comment. Like, if you comment on one of her tweets is probably the easiest way, I would say. I'm not sure. Like, because I don't want to just, like, say, oh, yeah, go ahead and DM, you know what I mean? It's that's her choice, too, right? So try and comment on some of her stuff, because I don't know if she even really checks the DMs on Twitter. And she's still just, working it out what her primary thing is going to be, and just still getting her footing after the TikTok, getting nuked on TikTok, and there's lots of stuff going on, right? So, let me just see if I missed anything here. I think that was everything, though, so we're just gonna, that's it, I think. No more questions, comments, and concerns? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Alright, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for coming out. Ciao. This video has been brought to you by Patreon, where I post more info, resources, bonus, and uncensored content. Everything is free to all members. Paid members just get early access, and some other features and benefits. It's mainly just a way to support the cause, stay informed with behind-the-scenes updates, and there is a public chat. I share all other news and updates outside of my body of work to the Eyes Wide Open group and over on Twitter. Everything mentioned and more can be found in the description. Lastly, make sure to like, hype, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Red bricks crumble under my feet, a path that whispers a cursed heartbeat. Shadows stretch long, they know my name. Every step forward, it's all the same.